We had one that's
I know it's been
just
what
us.
the last two we've had guests on, right?
Yeah.
Snowman and Luke's friend. Hey, so should we every episode title going forward has to be clickbaity about it being our very last episode because the Facebook post I made today.
The end. Oh, we already had one. Was like the end of the Black Series or whatever.
Yeah. This is the last episode ever. So, did you want to talk about the layoffs? Okay, I see.
I wanted to mention
Okay.
it. Yeah, I wanted to mention it because I titled the episode like
Oh,
mean one,
about the
Mr. Cox.
CEO.
Yeah,
Ah, that's clever. I didn't
I
pick up
thought
on that
so.
for a second. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty clever now. All right.
I mean, it's kind of grinchy to fire a bunch of or lay off a bunch of people like right before Christmas.
Yeah, it is.
There's never a good time to lay someone off, but like there's a worse time.
At least I read the article, and at least most of the 1100 will have a job through Christmas.
That's
Because I
good.
think it said the next 1100 over the next like 18 months. So
Right.
right now 1100 haven't been laid off, which is good, but still like it's still pretty scary. Like, could you imagine working
Yeah.
there? You know.
No,
But
like your
luckily,
time is limited.
luckily, Source said Star Wars team is good, so
That's good.
they're probably the ones making the big bucks though. All the small folk are getting axed.
All the small
My
folks.
desk is such a fucking disaster.
Oh
So
wow.
tired of
Just,
it.
just bringing out the F bombs right in the beginning of the episode.
Oh shit, we're live too. I kind of forgot. I kind of forgot we're already on the Patreon intro. We're 2 minutes in. Okay, well, Patreons, thanks for joining us. I guess we are. It slipped my mind we were live. But for real though, my desk is just like I haven't organized it in weeks, and there's just a ton of figures laying around.
My
And
whole
I've been-
room is that way.
Yeah, I've been like this is where I do my day job too. So I've been working
Yeah.
in this environment, and it's just
It's hard.
bothering me.
It's hard. Yeah, it's really
bothering
hard
me.
to.
It's
to
distracting
concentrate.
too.
Yep.
And this month our deadline's the 15th, right at the end of the month because of holidays.
Right.
So like
Yep.
today was hard. Like just, I'm so distracted because I'll pick up like the Goblin or I'll pick up. You know, I still have these on my desk from weeks ago. The Wolfpack clones, and
Right.
you know, and I got just all of these. Like I'm gonna give a peek. This is my desk right now. So that's sad. I have like figures on figures and like just random accessories like stacked all over the place, and there's my laptop. Like it is an absolute mess.
Yeah. How do you
So-
even live that way?
I have no idea. And normally I'm someone that likes to keep things like kind of neat, but like the desk has been crazy.
Sounds like you should just sell it all and move. Start over.
I probably should. I actually talked about moving the other day. Not
Start new
at
social
Louisville,
media. Start like just start over. Get
but- Well,
like,
Instagram
fake
did
your,
that for me.
fake your death. Start over in a new country,
gonna-
new name.
I'm gonna turn into a Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts account. That's
There you go.
fully going forward. I'm
There
quitting
you go.
Black Series. You're quitting Black Series too for GI Joe and
Yep. All G.I.
and
Joe.
Mythic Legions. And
Yeah, and Mythic Legions. Mythic Joes. GI Legions.
Well, patrons, thank you very much.
Nobody is
for
here.
being
According,
Patreon. This is
according to the
weird.
thing. This is weird. We have 0 people watching live right now. I'm sure that will change. But still.
Yeah,
Where is everybody? Where is everybody?
This gives me time to pull up the slides that I made because I forgot to. Slides. So top 10. Oh, that's last 10. I could. Where are my files? Dude, that top 10 was hard this year, man. We could make a
It was-
top 10 out of figures we left, like, I left off.
Sub top 10. That's why I wanted to take a little bit of the guesswork out of it, and I just made that the brackets.
Oh,
I'm like
the
this.
bracket. So yours is more like
Yeah.
a tournament.
Kinda, yeah.
The problem with that is though, if you have two great figures battling in like round 3,
Oh, I had a
great
couple
figure
of
doesn't-
upsets. I had a couple of upsets that and I'll explain why I did it that way when we start the episode, because
Okay.
it was a whole thing.
I have another. Oh yeah, the 2-pack slideshow for when we talk about it, just to put those figures on there. Okay, perfect. There we go. Do people know we start at 8 today?
I mean, we made the post, didn't? I'm pretty sure I made the post on Patreon.
Is it?
Yeah,
is it
someone
in
liked it.
Patreon? Oh yeah, Will
Yeah,
already commented.
Well, yeah, and yeah, Wilbon commented. So, I don't know. I don't know where it is. We got nobody. Nobody likes us.
Did everybody cancel their Patreon membership right before we went live? I posted it to our last ever episode, and they're like, "Oh, done."
All right, I'm done. I guess we're done.
I guess that is it. I can't believe it's episode 61 now.
I can't wait till we get to episode 6. Oh, we made that joke. Never mind. I'm not gonna make that joke for the next 8 episodes. That's gonna get old.
True. We got to save it all up for at least episode 68, and then whenever we're promoting. So are we? This is a good time to chat about it. Are we on for the 3rd officially?
Yeah, the third.
Okay, 3rd. All right.
4th. I think we're going up the night of the 4th to Disneyland.
Oh, you can't stream from Disneyland?
I can. I guess I could, but like I don't want to edit it, like and put it up.
I want you sitting in a chair right in front of the Millennium Falcon doing the podcast.
That'll be it. Everyone,
That'd be kind of
coming at you live from Batu.
What if one day we were able to do the podcast from the cockpit of the Falcon at Disneyland or something?
I mean, it's the ride. There's not much in there other than the ride.
Well, what if we were able to like sit in a Millennium Falcon cockpit and do the podcast though? Wouldn't that be sick? Like it'd be kind of scrunched though, I guess. Would be like
It's very scrunched. It's very scrunched. We could do it in the Cantina bar.
Mm.
There's a full on Cantina bar. Yeah.
That actually makes a lot.
Although it's noisy in there. They got music going constantly. And yeah. There's the DJ Rex is in there constantly talking and spinning tunes, breaking down, getting reactivated.
So before we get going on the actual pod, I want to check on a pre-order first.
Sure. What pre-order?
I want to try to pre-order the full power Frieza real quick.
Oh yeah, do it. Frieza.
The only thing that sucks about P Bandai is you got to pay like upon pre-ordering it in full. Like the Gohan and Goku set. Luckily they said that's shipping early in January, which is cool. But I had to pay the full 100 and something months ago.
Yeah, that's what it's like when I pre-order Mythic Legions when they go up. If you do it from them, you have to buy them up front, like pay for them.
But
it's
does it
nice
feel
when
like
they
a
come
free
out.
figure when it ships?
Yeah, so I was about to say you're like, oh, I just got a figure, cool. Like, I paid for this a year ago. I don't care about that money.
Okay, so it starts December 15th at 2 a.m. Eastern.
So so it's tonight.
Yeah.
So you gotta set an alarm. Is it one of those things that sells out, or is it just a pre-order thing where they'll make as many people pre-order?
I think it'll be up similar to that Vegeta. I think they're gonna give it time, I guess. But see the full power Goku, the legendary Super Saiyan Goku, they put that on like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth and like all the retailers. But this one I think is just P Bandai for the actual retail price. But then it'll be what the Vegeta did. If you didn't get it from P Bandai for a retail, you're gonna have to pay 120.
Yeah, that's because they have to
for BBTS.
They buy it too, and then they have to put a markup on it to make it worth it for them to buy it, basically.
So I'm definitely gonna pre-order it. I just don't know if waking up at 2 a.m. is gonna be worth it. So I might just do it right when I wake up for work. Because also tomorrow's deadline day, and I need good sleep for work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just wake up like 5 minutes early.
Yeah, true. Okay, so that's $85 too. That's not terrible.
That's not bad. He comes with some stuff. He's a big, thick boy.
Yeah, he does come with an extra face for the Goku I'm getting too, which is sick.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
It's like a damaged one. He's getting punched and he has like a bruise on his cheek and his eyes closed. That's pretty sick.
And he's got his totally not Krillin's Destructo Discienzans.
Right. And I like the cut tail he has, which is pretty cool. The tail is cut. Like I said, the other episode we were talking, I'm not getting all of these. I'm just, I don't need every form. But the full power Frieza, I need full power Frieza, even though I have the normal final form Frieza. I gotta have
fourth form Frieza. You got full power fourth form. Do you have first power or first form Frieza?
I really want the first form in the pod, but it's like 85-ish bucks, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on it.
Comes with the pod, though, right?
Yeah, it comes with the pod and everything, so it's a great deal. But I just haven't pulled the trigger, and I know as soon as it goes out of stock everywhere, I'm gonna regret it. Yep. But it's just one of those things where it's like, do I absolutely need it?
I know they did a second form Frieza, but I think it was one of those P Bandai things.
I think they're doing they did a third one too.
A third, yeah,
with the really long head. Is that?
Yeah. His totally not an alien. That's the third. Yeah.
I'm watching today, literally right when I was kind of wrapping up my top 10. I was watching. It was I'm at the part right where Goku turns Super Saiyan 3. So that's a part
Super D Duper Saiyan.
Yep. Super D Duper Saiyan.
Yeah, there's Super Saiyan, and there's Super Duper Saiyan, and then Super D Duper Saiyan.
With the long hair.
Yeah.
I'm going because my locks are kind of flowing right now. I've got
long
hair right now. I need to get a haircut so bad. But I like work from home full time now pretty much, so I have no motivation to get a haircut anymore. I told my wife, I was like, I'm just gonna let it ride until I hit 30 in February, and then I'll get a cut. I gotta do one last let it flow, so that's the plan. By Christmas I'm gonna look like
you're gonna look like a hobo.
I know. And I haven't shaved in a while, and I'm getting long hair.
You're basically gonna look homeless.
I'm probably gonna get laid off if they see me on a video meeting like this.
Yeah.
You don't even look.
Don't we pay you, sir?
Not enough. I can't afford a haircut because all these figures I'm buying.
Every time I go to buy a figure, get a haircut, I just buy a figure instead.
It's a legit issue whenever a company can just announce a figure and you're like, "Yep, that's $85."
Sure,
drain.
Not a big deal. Well, just today, Amir sent me a text saying do you want some more Black Series figures? And I was like, I guess, yeah.
Sure. The new wave.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get that before the year's end.
I feel like that wave has been announced for so long, and it's just been sitting there because that was also the pipe. We got those pipelined, that Mandalorian pipeline for so long.
So long
it was revealed, and then now I feel like it's just so long for this release.
Yeah, it's definitely been on the radar for a long time. I feel like right now, Kiadi Mundi is the longest, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I think wasn't he pipelined at the same time or right after Mando was?
He was pipelined before that, but he was announced and shown in February. It's been almost a year.
Yeah, that's absolutely absurd. And we kind of just saw the box recently, right?
Yeah,
not too long ago.
It's absolutely absurd. I don't know what's going on with that guy.
They're waiting for him to get out of prison.
That's what it is.
Oh gosh, what a time on the VIP shows. What a time.
What a time.
All right, so we got intro, next show update. I felt like there was something else I wanted to. Oh yeah, Patreon plug right before Fine Edition.
Gotta do Patreon plug.
Fine Editions, and then we'll talk about the layoffs, top 10, hits and misses. What to look forward to. I only have a slideshow for the 2-pack, and then
that's fine.
Top 10, of course. So nothing for I was thinking about doing one.
I have my
out in the future,
I have my I have my spreadsheet.
Okay.
up. I can just do a. Let me bring up my master toy list here.
I was trying to get pictures of them all, but I was like, that's so much work. I don't have that much time.
It's too much work. Yeah, don't do that. Share screen, window, master toy list. There we go.
Oh, sweet.
All right. Okay. Let's boom.
Ready to start the show?
Yeah, I guess why not? We're just there's nothing really going on like pre-Patreon people. There's no Patreon people. Wilbon made a comment and then bolted. Like
this, I think this is the first.
Abandoned. We have how long have we been doing the VIP and 1183 thing now? Like a little bit over a year?
I think so, yeah.
I think this is the first time we've had just like no.
Oh, we have one now.
We have one person.
Someone
speak of someone can keep us company. Yeah, I just felt really abandoned. I've got abandonment issues, I guess. I watched Godzilla -1 this week.
How was that?
It was really good. Like I don't. Oh, they're gone. It's okay. It's fine.
You know, I think that one was me making sure the link
was it you?
Yeah, and then it would have disappeared right after I clicked it out. I didn't realize.
I'll be my only friend.
I think this is the first time no patrons have joined us since we've done it. And we had we have one person? I think it was the Forces with Jesse joined the 1138 tier.
Yeah,
right.
I think so. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Welcome.
Anyways, yeah, I don't especially like Godzilla movies. Like I don't hate them or anything. I just they're fine. But everyone was talking about this. I'm like, I gotta go see it. Like I just gotta go see it. And I gotta say, it was a good, it was a good movie. It was just
entertaining. It did its job.
Yeah, well, yeah, all that stuff is true. Like, oh, it's a good Godzilla movie or whatever. But if you replace Godzilla with just like a war, like instead of a monster attacking, they're doing battles with like another country or something. I don't know. Like the story for it and the characters in it, it's just good. Like there were a couple parts where I'm like, oh, that's a little boring, and I saw it in 40X, which was a mistake. Have you ever done a 40X movie?
You mean like the? What do you mean 40X? I guess so not.
4DX. So it's like a ride where the seats are on little pods of 4, and like there's a bunch of them.
I think the last one maybe I saw that's similar to that was Bug's Life.
Okay. Wow.
I feel like.
Yeah. So
where like it was interactive, like the seats moved and there was like mist. There was mist from the ceiling when
there was water, there's wind, there's movement. And I'm like, I wanted specifically, I've never done it before, but I'm like, this sounds like it'll be cool, enhancing. Like I can feel like I'm in it more. But like there's parts where Godzilla like bites people, and the seat just basically punches you in the back every time. Where it got to the point where it's like, I don't want him to bite anyone anymore. I'm like leaning against like away from the seat. So my back's not against it because I'm like,
what if it like hurts your spine or something, right?
Literally for 2 hours, my seat beat the ever living shit out of me. Like that was my experience. It was a good movie, but like I felt like I got my ass kicked at the end of it. I'm just like, well, why did I pay more for that? Like, why was that an experience I paid more to do?
Yeah, that sounds wild.
Worse. Yeah. And also like there's water and stuff spraying, and I've got glasses. So then like every time Godzilla's
like wipe
water and stuff, I gotta like wipe my glasses off. And I'm like, well, at least it wasn't in like 3D. It was just regular, like a regular screen. But still, it was friggin' annoying. And that was my first and last 4DX experience.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But the movie was good.
When's the last time you've seen a movie in 3D?
Oh, that's a good question. That was like all the rage for a while. Honestly, probably one of the Star Wars movies, I think. Like, I think probably Last Jedi. Because I don't think we saw Rise of Skywalker in 3D, if they were even doing it in 3D at that point. I think it had mostly stopped by then.
I feel like I did Force Awakens in 3D.
I definitely saw Force Awakens in 3D for sure.
Because I feel like I don't have that much memory of it other than when Kylo turns around and puts the saber on Rey's neck, and the saber is like kind of a butt, and then the Star Destroyer at the beginning.
Yeah, the Star Destroyer at the beginning. And I also like the part where he froze the laser bolt.
Yeah,
and it's like just kind of hovering in the air.
But other than cool. Those couple things, I don't have a lot of like. Maybe it was meant for those like 3 specific scenes.
Basically, like it needs to look really cool in 3D.
And then Han Solo gets stabbed right in front of you. You're like, save.
Yeah, you're just like, oh no, that felt extra real. I don't like that.
Yeah, they misted like blood on you.
Yeah, no, it's real blood. it's like a vampire rave.
Oh geez. Well, you ready to start the main?
Yeah,
pod
let's start the main pod ignition sequence. Go.
All right, and welcome to Black Series Cantina episode 61. Unfortunately, this is the last episode of Black Series Cantina, but only for 2023. It's not the last episode ever. We will be back in 2024. That is for sure. But we are going to take a small holiday break. Take a couple weeks off, restart, refresh, focus on the holidays and family and friends and all that good stuff. But of course, as always, I'm your host, Zach, and I'm joined by Mikey Casemas.
Mike. Yeah, Mikey Casemas. Can I be honest with you? Like completely bluntly honest with you?
That's the only way I would want you to be.
Good. I hate that we're ending the year at 61. Like it's such an odd number. I don't like it.
You think?
Like if it were 60, I'd be okay with that. If it were 62, I'd be more okay with it. But 61, it just feels so incomplete. I don't like it. I mean, it's going to happen because I'm definitely not going to record another episode this year. But
I was going to say, are you hinting at you want to drop another one?
No, absolutely not. I don't have time. I'll be in Florida for like a week and a half. So there's definitely not going to be any time for me to do that.
But what if they drop actual photos of the droideka before the end of the year? I feel like we got to hop on for like half an hour.
I feel like we'll do like a special addendum. We're coming back on the 4th. People can wait. Or 3rd, or at some point. We're coming back first week of January. You'll be okay. We'll be okay. You can get our thoughts then.
Maybe I'll just do a solo half-hour recording if something crazy.
Oh my
drops.
God!
If something crazy drops.
Nothing crazy is gonna drop.
I'm not confirming anything, but
nothing. Crazy.
You never know. Anything can happen. But
no, in fact, I'm saying that so something crazy does drop. You see, I'm trying to jinx myself here.
I like it.
Yeah.
But we will be back January 3rd to record, so we'll be live then, and then you can expect the podcast that following weekend. But as always, before we jump into fine editions, we have a word from our sponsor, and our sponsor is our Patreon because we don't. Yeah,
you had me for a second. I was like, what sponsor? Toy Snowman?
Us. We sponsor ourselves.
No, we have a group of shareholders that we're beholden to for Lord. People that pay us money that we have to make happy with our content.
Yeah. And fortunately for you all, we don't run any ads, but we do have to plug our Patreon, of course, because we're just 2 dudes who spend our time, talking about toys, and we're not backed by a company or anything. Like your Patreon money isn't going to, one of those big giant social platforms that have podcasts on every, pop culture thing out there, like Star Wars and Marvel. We are just 2 guys running a podcast who, if you have the ability to support us financially, we greatly appreciate it. We have awesome Patreon members out there. But if you cannot support us financially, we greatly appreciate it. If you leave a review on the podcast, that is also helpful.
That's how we pay our sound editor and sound technician. Which is me. That person is me.
Which is you. Yeah.
It's me.
It's how we pay our, Hayden Christensen loving co-host, myself.
That's true. That's true.
But we would greatly appreciate it if you would
wait, hold on. You get paid just to love Hayden Christensen on this podcast? That's pretty much your role.
That's essentially the only thing I contribute to the podcast, if we're being honest.
Just your ever given devotion to Hayden.
Because we have figures to talk about, and then at the end, every single time I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but this R2 is cool, but it looked better if a new Anakin came out. And then that's really all I got to say.
Fair.
This clone is cool, but if they could make an Anakin, that'd be better.
If you could just make an Anakin, just to shut guys, Hasbro, Mr. Cox, if I could just bend your ear for a second, I'm tired of Zach talking about Anakin Skywalker. Just dead tired of hearing about Anakin Skywalker.
You're probably not the only one.
Please, for the love of God, make him a new one so he can at least move on to hyper focusing on something else.
It'll be, this one's not good enough. I need a new one for the next 15 years.
I can't wait for the new one.
Like the likeness is just like just a little off. I'm going to be talking about a new one for the next 12 years. It's going to be fabulous. I'm sure.
He's got one hair out of place, sculpted out of place.
And look, I hate to go down this rabbit hole because we've talked about it a million times, but they like making evergreen characters, these A-list characters. Look, they're not making a whole lot of money right now. If they want to make money, release a damn Anakin. I'm telling you, it will sell out instantly. Faster than the Clone 2-pack, I promise you. I promise you. But anyways, now that the quota of talking about new Anakin is out of the way, we can jump into fine editions now.
That actually is on the notes. Is discussed.
It's every episode.
New Anakin, yeah.
We have to beg and plead Hasbro for new Anakins, new Obi-Wans, all of any just prequel figure. Any prequel figures. But fine editions, I'm going to go ahead and go first because I don't necessarily have a whole lot. I don't know if Mike does.
I do.
But
yeah.
Yeah, so the last fine editions of the year, what am I going to end it with? I picked up Toby Spider-Man with the alt head, which, now looking back, buying that 3-pack was maybe.
Do you feel a little dumb? Do you feel a little dumb?
Yeah, I feel impatient,
Yeah. I feel the same way because there was a Marvel Legends stream today, and they announced a bunch of X-Men that I have just recently bought because they released the VHS versions of them in the little VHS boxes. But the ones that they showed off today have better sculpts or accessories, and they're the same characters. And I'm like, well, I kind of want those instead. Yeah. But I literally less than a year ago, I bought these VHS versions, and now I feel like a dunce.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I knew they were going to release the alt heads eventually, but I still, in the moment, I just wanted it. And it even came with a figure I already had. So I essentially bought that 3-pack for,
a head
for Toby and
for a head for the Toby. Yeah, you bought them for the head sculpts, basically.
Yeah. And of course, I picked up Andrew.
Of course you did.
Of course. I mean, I need all 3, but big missed opportunity not including pointy fingers on these.
Oh, for sure.
For the meme, right? I mean, come on.
And it's very obvious that the Spider-Man people are in on the meme, as evidenced by the Across the Spider-Verse.
Exactly.
And the Spider-Man 2 game. That's all over the place in there. I don't know why the Hasbro team wouldn't just include pointy hands. It's a weird choice.
Who knows? And the funny thing is, I know whenever we were talking about these figures releasing, it's just so funny how he comes with the Amazing Spider-Man 2, because that's probably the only one they had the license. They couldn't get Andrew's likeness for No Way Home for some reason.
Which is so weird, but whatever. However
all those lawyer issues. Yeah.
Yeah, however they have to do it. I don't care.
And it's funny because I think most people would rather have Toby in a Spider-Man 2 or
for sure.
Spider-Man card rather than No Way Home card.
Yep, for sure. Are you going to open them?
Whenever I ordered them, that was the plan. But when the cards are so nice, they have a nice, really thick card stock, and they're so pristine and they look so good. I'm kind of thinking about keeping them on card.
Sounds like you're going to have to buy 2. You're going to have to buy one version to open and one version to keep on card.
You need to stop talking right now, because What I think I'm gonna do, I might end up opening the No Way Home Toby, and if they ever do like a classic one, maybe in the classic black suit, keep that one on card. But I feel like I need that one open too. There's so many possibilities. I don't
Sounds
even know.
like you're gonna have to buy another version to open and then one to keep on card.
I have a full power freezer to pre-order for $85. I can't be buying six Spider-Mans. And then another one I ordered, I got the classic Spider-Man Green Goblin in his day-to-day outfit.
Yeah, his business outfit. He's going to the office.
Yeah, so I actually, of course, I got the Goblin, got the whole glider, which is cool. And of course, the body. But I was just kind of sitting around bored. And I was just like swapping the heads. And then I was like, this is kind of a cool way to display it.
Whose body is that?
This is a Tony Stark body, I believe. Wait, no. Hang on. At first, I had Tony Stark's head on it, but this is a Obadiah Stane body.
Oh,
that came with that 2-pack with the giant Ironmonger or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
And having the Goblin mask on the plinth displayed next to him.
Plinth? Is that my plinth?
No, your plinth is in this plastic bin down here.
Okay.
But I have an update on that, a very unfortunate update. Once I've done the fine editions, I'll get into that.
Okay.
And then I do have one more to fine edition. Let's end it on a Star Wars note.
Do it.
For 2023. But it's probably the most unfortunate way I could end it. Pre-Vizsla is my final fine edition of the year. Well, at least for the podcasting. I know I'll get more later in December, but at least for the podcast, the last one is Pre-Vizsla. I will say he looks very cool in the box, but I know when you take him out of the box, it's that old body. Hopefully he can stand, unlike the other.
If you get him a flight stand, he looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I could imagine that would make him a lot better instead of troubling with those feet.
Yeah.
But I will say head sculpt, I do like it. All the accessories are pretty cool. That helmet is really slick. Darksaber's nice and vibrant with that white on the outside rather than just the clear plastic that came on Moff Gideon's. 2 blasters, the jetpack. They packed this in. It's a decent set. It just sucks.
You get a lot of stuff for the price in there. I mean, if that were a Boba Fett, he'd be deluxe easily.
Yep. So I do have unfortunate news about my 3D printer. I've been kind of waiting for this to happen, but so I printed 2 parts of your Christmas gift, and I wasn't happy with the way they turned out. I should have just left it alone. So I replaced something on the hot end of it, and then it was still it looked like it was printing very thin, so under extruding. Made some tweaks, and then what happened after that? It wasn't over extruding, but it was like the leveling. I think my bed might be warped, but I'm not 100% sure because I leveled it so many times, and I'm pretty sure I fixed the extrusion. But now I made some more tweaks to the hot end, and it just decided it's not printing at all. Like, it's pushing no filament through whatsoever.
Oh, no.
So my 2 options are, I've been looking at completely assembled new hot ends, and those are only like $30. It's not, and I could just replace it and see if that works. Or ordering a brand new 3D printer. And I think I'm leaning towards ordering a brand new 3D printer, if I'm being honest. I think I asked Luke about the new one he got, the Bamboo P1P, because I think it prints like 3 times as fast or something absurd. And it's like you get it out of the box and it can print. You don't have to spend 4 hours assembling it, and it auto levels itself. So I think I'm leaning towards that. It just sounds like all the headaches of it would be alleviated. So, but we'll see. So hopefully I can start printing your present soon again. But so you might not get it
way out. That's okay.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Just
throw money at the problem. That's easy. It's no problem. Just buy another one.
Hey,
it's
but
just
at least
a thing.
That's what Patreon members are for. So sign up for Patreon and you can fund a new 3D printer.
Fund a new 3D printer for Zach.
Actually, we forgot to mention in the Patreon plug, in January, we're going to open up 2 more VIP spots.
That's true. That's true.
So we have a great time on our VIP hangouts. If you like watching those, we do them every month. We're going to open up 2 more spots, so hopefully they fly off the shelves. But if not, they'll be available. So
That's
just
okay
keep
too.
an eye out
Yeah,
early
they'll be
January. Yeah. So yeah, join that if you like. And I'm going to pass the.
We're doing the
Fine
Comfort
Editions
Plus,
baton over
right?
to Mike.
The Comfort Plus.
No,
spots?
no Comfort Plus. They're legit VIPs. And
Yes.
we actually just did a giveaway for our VIPs only, where all 4 of them
That's true.
got a figure. So
That's true.
join the VIP tier. I'd recommend it.
We are generous people. So I got nothing Star Wars. I'm just gonna preface that by saying I got 0 Star Wars. The first
Kicking
thing
you.
the first thing I'm just gonna show off is this Santa Claus action figure.
That's your Sophie series figure, bro.
Yeah, this is
Literally right now with the Santa hat.
Kinda. Yeah, I don't have a gray beard like this guy does, but this is from a company called Fresh Monkey Fiction. They are a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, and I ordered it last year and I canceled it because I don't know, I wasn't feeling it or whatever. And then I watched like people's reviews on it, and I was like, no, I have to have one. And this is the reissue. Apparently, it's got better paint on it, so I'm kind of glad I got it. But one of my favorite things about this is that his hat is removable, and he actually comes with a lot of stuff. He has 2 sets of alternate hands. He's got an alternate head. He has a little present that you can open and put something in.
Oh, cool.
He's got a plate of cookies and also a glass with removable milk. Like, that's neat. His Santa hat is big enough to fit a lot of other characters. Like, I put it on this clone trooper here, and it's just kind of fun to mess around, with having a Santa. I put the Santa in a couple different things, and it took some pictures. It's exactly what I wanted. Like, it's a little expensive. It's like $35. The articulation is not great. His elbows don't really bend as much as I'd like them to bend, but for all the kind of goofy pictures that you can take and stuff, it's good. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing is also Christmas themed. This is the Figure Obscura, which is 4 Horsemen.
So cool.
Yeah, this is their Jacob Marley figure. And I'm going to do a review on both this and the Santa Claus that I got. So look forward to those. But this Jacob Marley figure is nuts. He's like translucent down here and kind of transitions.
Those chains are so cool.
The chains are nuts.
I didn't know it had the chains until right now.
Yeah, the chains are incredible. There's a bunch of keys on them. There's like locks and books and like a full-on safe.
Oh, wow, I didn't even notice that one. I was just looking at the stuff hanging from him. It was kind of a frame, I think.
Yeah, he's got a full-on.
That is sick.
And there was a secret head in the safe. I'll show you because like people listening can't see it if they're worried about spoilers. But it's just a cool alternate head that doesn't really go with him, but like you can just kind of mess around with other stuff, which is cool. So I got that. I love it. Love it to death. It's just really neat. And then, hey, it's Land Speeder Luke. You missed the start, and you're the only. Everyone else did too. It's just you. I got my HasLabs that I bought a long time ago. So this is Deathsaurus. He's a Transformers HasLab. Yeah, he's a robot chicken guy with wings, and I like him. Like, he's pretty good. He's very shiny.
Yeah, I like the gold plate shine right there.
The gold plates and stuff. Yeah, it's very, very shiny and stuff. But that's not the big thing. The big thing.
He's got a big one. What we got? Oh, I forgot. Yep.
The His Tank. Oh no!
The figure just died.
It's okay. But
sacrifices are made.
Yeah, this thing's huge. I'm gonna put it down.
How heavy would you say it is?
He's got lights. And so this is, I made a whole review on this. So if you want to get my full thoughts, go ahead. But if you can go watch it. But in the review, I talk about if Hasbro ever does another Black Series, it's got to have lights like this. Like this just makes it feel so premium. Well, I don't even, if it's a Rancor, it should still have lights. Figure out a way. Put some headlights on that thing. Yeah. So something like the lights really do make it feel premium. I think that's necessary.
How much did that go for on HasLab again?
It was $300.
$300, and that was the one that backed like almost instant, like day one.
Yeah, it was like a day and a half or so.
Yeah. I remember that was really fast.
Yeah, it was real fast. I love it. The review I made for it is like almost an hour long because there's just so much stuff that it comes with and talk about and go over. And I cut it down, like it was longer, and that was me cutting it down. It was still an hour. But it's got so much presence, and it's just kind of fun to mess around with. I really enjoy it. Yeah, in fact, I cleaned out this spot right here.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to be, I was going to say it's going to be on camera, but it's not, because that's always where I'm sitting. So I might maybe I'll swap it out for like this spot right here, so people can see it. I don't know, or maybe like this shelf right here or something. I'll figure it out. Not a big deal.
Yeah. The His tank does look really cool.
It is. I bought
on the Joes. I would have got it.
I bought two. I bought a second one to sell, and I already sold it on eBay for like $550.
See, that's why people should have backed the damn Rancor.
I honestly kind of paid for itself. It was great. Like not quite, but like it ate into what I paid for it very easily. And before anyone's like, "Oh, Mike, scalp it" or whatever, no, it's not. Because if no one buys an extra one to sell, there wouldn't be any to sell. That's just how it is. Yeah. Hasbro doesn't make extras for people to buy. The only reason there are extras for people to buy is because people orders extra to sell. That's just how it is. So you pay the late tax if you don't have it, because that's the current go. I put it on eBay for $300. That was my starting price. I'm like, I at least want to get the money I paid for it back. And the bidding pushed it up to $550. So
plus shipping, right? Which probably
plus
like $50 at least.
That was $60. So yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's crazy. And people don't consider that Hasbro has to pay shipping on those, because
it's a 10-pound box. Yeah. It's a 10-pound box, and it's a huge box. So it was expensive to ship for anyone, especially Hasbro, because that's going over like seas, like in a freight container, So just me going from here to like, I think the guy I sold it to was also in California, and that was still only $50 to go like halfway up California. So
yeah, I couldn't imagine if you had to ship it to like the East Coast.
Right.
That would have been in the 90s or something.
Easily, if not more. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Did you have any other fine editions, or was that the last one?
Nope, that's what I got.
All right, so I did have one more because I kind of forgot, but it's sitting right here on my desk. And whenever Luke hopped in the chat, it reminded me to do it on fine editions. Luke sent me this beautiful Luke Skywalker lightsaber. It's made of pure metal. I think the company is In Sabers, which is so awesome. Luke, I greatly appreciate it. Like, this is a certified weapon with how heavy it is. Somebody could break into my house and I would grab this hilt to hit him in the head with it, because this would do some damage. Like, that's solid metal. Like, absolutely nuts. It would, if I get a saber for it, I could like have it light up and all that. It has buttons and battery packs and all that. So I might do that, but honestly, I probably won't, because I just like displaying the hilt on my desk. And honestly, whenever I said I've been distracted at work lately because everything on my desk, this is kind of the main thing. It's just sitting here and I grab it, and I it's almost like a fidget toy. I just have it in my hand and I'm spinning it, while looking at the computer. I was on a call with a friend at work, and we were just chit-chatting, and I just grabbed it, and they were like, "What are you holding?" And it was just, "Oh, my Return of the Jedi Luke lightsaber." So I'm just like subconsciously grabbing this and messing with it. So Luke, really appreciate you sending me that. And now we can move off of fine additions.
Those are some fine additions.
Those are some very fine. The Hiss tank is probably the finest of additions, I would say.
Oh, it better be for the price that it was.
Have you gotten every Figura Obscura?
Yes, I have. The first one was back in like 2021. It was Krampus up here.
Krampus.
And then last year they did this is the Headless Horseman over
and
here.
Santa, right.
And then Santa was last Christmas. And then they did this Sun Wukong, which is like a little
the monkey god,
monkey king guy, yeah. And then like, just a couple months ago they did this which is an Edgar Allan Poe figure, the Mask of the Red Death. Red Mask
That's
of Death. That's
probably the coolest one. That and the Horseman, I feel like. Cool.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And then the Jacob Marley just popped up. So it's, I like it because when they come in, they're made. Like you don't have to buy them and get them a year later. They're like, hey, we're surprising you with a toy. And it's always something like interesting and unique. And you get it a week or so later because they're in stock sales. They're a little expensive. Like the Jacob Marley was $60. But he comes with, basically 3 heads, 4 sets of hands, all those different chains and things. He came with some things are useless, but still kind of cool. Like he came with these little Jacob Marley door knockers.
Oh, nice.
And like I don't know what to do with them. They're for dioramas. Like if you want to put it on like a little door or something. Yeah,
like,
I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any place to put it. Like if you want to 3D print me a door, I guess, so I can hang my.
I'm sure Luke has a file out there. When I get a 3D printer up and running, I get you. Honestly, so, I have an arc.
Yeah,
if you can put it on that.
There you go. Yeah, but they always come with just a lot of stuff, and they're neat. I like it's like literary stuff, or mythical stuff, which is I think is just really cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
But so let's talk about the Black Series, which is what everybody's here to listen to.
That's what our podcast is about, right?
Yeah, I think so. We are everyone's. If you think about it, we're everyone's favorite Black Series podcast because
Black Series specific podcast. Yeah, we're the only one.
And I do want to say, before we get going on Black Series, recently people have been sharing their Spotify Wrapped and their like top podcasts from Apple and all that. And we've had a lot of people send us where they're like top podcast, or they're a top 5.5% listener, or where they're, most downloaded or most played podcast. So we like greatly appreciate everybody who's like stuck with us throughout the years we've been and all year this year, and been a fan of the podcast. We appreciate it. Not only do we appreciate our diehard fans, but if you're someone who has only downloaded one episode and listened to it, whether you downloaded it and listened to half the episode, whether you listen to the whole thing, whether you
go finish it,
we recommend downloading it and going to finish it. But if you're someone who only downloaded one because you liked the guest that was on, or if you've ever liked an Instagram post that me and Mike have done about the podcast, or, interacted with the Black Series Cantina Instagram page whenever we post new episodes, or if you're a part of the Black Series Cantina Facebook group or follow the Twitter account, we appreciate all you as well, even if you don't listen to every episode all the way through. Everything, like, we really appreciate it all. So just wanted to give a little shout out there to all the listeners, especially the ones that posted that they're like a 0.01% like top fan. That's pretty cool. The Spotify Wrapped, that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, Spotify is our second most listened to platform behind Apple iTunes, but I mean there's a pretty big gap in between. Like iTunes is like 50 or 60% of our total downloads, and then Spotify's like 15. So it's not indicative of like our entire audience, But it was still cool when we got R wrapped, and I'm like going through the numbers, and I'm like, oh, that's like, it's nuts to me that there are 350 plus people out there where we are one of their top 10 podcasts. Like our podcast is one of their 10 most listened to podcasts, and that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really kind of heartwarming to see, like, oh wow, people actually like the product we're putting out. It's pretty,
for some reason.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And 2023 was a great year for the podcast.
Great year.
Great year for the Patreon. I feel like we got a lot of good guests. The Patreon has grown, so hopefully that continues to grow.
It was a great year for Black Series.
Yeah, and a great year for Black Series, which will bring up maybe the final reveal of the year. We aren't 100% sure.
I honestly hope so. I really do.
You think?
I hope that this is the last reveal of the year.
Well, hopefully we can get something after Christmas announced, so we have something to talk about on the 3rd when we come back.
That'd be nice. You're right. That'd be nice.
You know, instead of just doing a show based off what we want in the future and looking forward. But yeah, so we got what is on the box? What is this exactly called? It's kind of hard for me. The C-3PO Battle Droid and Super Battle Droid 2-pack is what this is officially titled.
Yes. So after years of waiting, we finally know what a Black Series Super Battle Droid looks like.
And it is magnificent, in my opinion.
I'm apprehensive.
See, let's talk about the C-3PO before we dive into the Battle Droid, because that one will be easy to get out of the way.
Sure.
I don't understand the criticism of this figure.
It's a weird choice. That's they ever interact? Did he ever interact with a Super Battle Droid in the movie?
I mean, he was kind of on his team. They're literally fighting Jedi.
Okay. Put him with a Genosian or something. I don't know. Like, to me, the obvious pairing with this would be a C-3PO body with a battle droid head. Like, why else? Who else would you put with this?
I feel like this is a better one because this is the one where C-3 was like, die Jedi dogs, and he's fighting Jedi. He's programmed to fight Jedi here.
It doesn't go with the super battle droid. Like,
see,
there is another half. We have half of a puzzle here. There's a whole other half. Where are they going to do, like, maybe the other half? We get a C-3PO body with a battle droid head and then another super battle droid. So gives us a reason to buy another back, maybe.
That would kind of suck, but
honestly, that would be smart because there are people that want to people want to army build this, like, because it's a super battle droid. Like, nobody wants multiple C-3PO headed.
I mean, I agree with that. I think not putting an alt head on here for an alt battle droid head was a mistake. I feel like that would have been a good solution if they could just, pop and plug it on there. But I feel like the hate I've seen for the figure itself, like having a battle droid with C-3PO's head, it's a great. I think that's a great prequel addition to the set. I think it's nice.
This is definitely a set that I would want. Like, if you said might come out with like 10 figures from Attack of the Clones, this might not be make that top 10 list, but it would be one of the things that I think of for a contribution. Like, okay, C-3PO body with a battle droid head, battle droid body with a C-3PO head, because that was like it was a memorable part of the movie. I remember opening night sitting there and laughing at this. Like, this is ridiculous. It was funny. It was legitimately funny.
Yeah, I feel like they put this in with a Super Battle Droid first release because they feel like this wouldn't sell great as an individual release. And they don't want to make, 50,000 or 80,000, whatever, however many the individual releases are. They just want to make a small amount for this 2-pack, knowing it'll sell great because the battle droid's with it, and then likely not release this individually later on, which they still might, but I just feel I feel like they know it's not the most desirable, so they plug it in with a great one.
I mean, they're definitely going to release the Super Battle Droid by itself at some point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's so many ways to release one. You got Jedi Survivor version, you got a Mandalorian version, you got
a clean version.
A clean version, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But specifically with the C-3PO and Battle Droid, The body looks fabulous. The dark, the maroonish color of the body with a dark wash on it is actually really nice. But the head is a little strange. And I know you're kind of colorblind, so I'm not sure exactly if you can see that green on the silver head.
So I went back and looked at the movie because I remember him being a lot more kind of gray or silver.
Mm-hmm.
Than this, at least to me in my eyes. Maybe that's just how I was interpreting it, but it definitely doesn't look like the correct color.
Yeah, I actually looked at the Hot Toys version of this C-3PO, and I think they did one where you can swap it on a battle droid head and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They did more of like a rustic, like browns in there to make it look kind of rusted. But this is just bad, and this looks like it was rushed.
Well, now who's hating? Now who's hating?
Look, I mean, I'm
gonna call you Hayden Christensen.
Look, oh gosh, here we go. Here we go. No, I like the figure. It's just the head of it. They made it gray, and then they just it looks like they spray painted green on the top of it, and it looks like a bad attempt at aging.
Yeah,
and it doesn't work. Like it doesn't look like they tried to splotch it on or anything. It just looks like they straight spray painted, and maybe the lighting, because the lighting's really bright.
It could be a weird lighting thing. Could be
bringing that green out more than it should be, but the green is really heavy, and it doesn't really look that great. But I like the idea of it, and it's still going to be good on the shelf, in my opinion.
I'm really curious.
Luke's going to repaint it and make it look.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Of course he is. I'm really curious how the head connects to the body.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see. I wonder if it'll pop off easily.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, if you want to, can you swap the head out?
Yeah, like is this a brand new C-3PO head? Because
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
I'm assuming you can't just pop one off on the shelf and put it on the B2, right? That you have on the shelf, I don't think.
Probably not.
I wouldn't think so. But yeah, that green is really heavy, but the body looks fabulous. The maroon and the dark wash on it is great. Just the head looks rushed. Like, I don't know if they had an intern do the head. Like
it was someone's first day. They're like, we need you to paint the C-3PO head.
Like, I hate to be disrespectful. Like, in the most respectful way possible, it looks like it was rushed. And hey, we are here to critique action figures. Nothing personal against the person who designed this, but
so there was a
little much.
There was a Q&A going around from the Star Wars team recently that we probably should have put on the list, but I only watched part of it.
Yeah, we can talk about a part of it later.
Well, the reason I bring it up because it's kind of relevant. Where someone asked them about Balin and Shin's height, and they talk about how they do their best, but at the end of the day, they're human and they're gonna make mistakes, which I appreciate. I feel like a lot of times people don't treat them like they're fallible people who can make mistakes. Like sometimes they just get stuff wrong and it sucks. And I'm not saying it's okay that they get stuff wrong. I'm saying like there's a level to which it's appropriate to critique something and say like this could be better. Then
like for people's jobs is a little much,
Yeah. Or just, rein it in. Like there's still just toys, guys. At some level, yes, there are things that are wrong about this. There are things that are wrong with almost every Black Series figure if you want to get nitty and gritty enough, But at some point, you just gotta step back and think like, is it really worth this much vitriol and this much? Is it worth this much thought? To think about this. So much of your day is just reserved for how much you hate this and this person. Like
and we know,
let it go.
And we know there's like certain accounts out there that all they do is call for the whole Star Wars team needs to lose their jobs and all this. Like, it's not that big of a deal. People don't need to lose their jobs over it. Like, this isn't something that happens all the time. I mean, there are some issues, but like, I'm still loving the line. Like, the figures are
No, if someone's gonna get rid of anyone at Hasbro, it's gonna be the CEO who lays off 1,100 people.
Yep. R.I.P.
We'll talk about that later. Sorry, I just I couldn't resist.
We'll cover that here in a little bit. But next, There we go. The Super Battle Droid, the long awaited. The king is finally here. And he's dirty with sand on him. What do you think of the Super Battle Droid?
Well, Anakin hates it. I'll tell you that.
That is true. He doesn't like the ones covered in sand.
He hates it. I mean, it looks like it should. I'm just after the Magna Guard. I guess I'm a little gun shy, maybe. Like I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to jump all in because I jumped so hard into that Magna Guard to only be let down. So
Yeah,
I can acknowledge. Yeah, I can acknowledge that it looks good. It looks like it should, but until I get it in hand, I'm really trying not to get overly hyped for it.
See, this is where me and you differ, because while you're rightfully so putting your reservations forward for this figure, me and Justin from Out of the Basement were in the chat hyped as hell over this Super Battle Droid because it's been like a top 2 or top 3 most wanted figure for me for so long. It's been such a hole in the Black Series prequel shelf. And now you could also plug it in your Mandalorian shelf. It's kind of a hole there. It's finally here, and I think it looks fabulous. I know me and Justin were a little worried originally that they were going to do the bulkier shoulders of it and make it wider up top, because the Mandalorian kind of made it look like a live action version of the Clone Wars rather than straight from Attack of the Clones, which has this nice slimmer build here. And we are so hyped that they went with that look instead of the newer media look of it, which would have made a lot of sense for them to do because they do like pushing new media stuff. And I think it looks great. I'm a little worried about the sand on it not looking too hot. In these photos, I'm not the biggest fan of the dirt detail. But again, that just could be the lighting bringing it out a little more. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. And I'm so hyped for the re-release of a nice clean version. Hopefully they do that in standard packaging.
I'm a little worried about a couple of things. I'm a little worried about how much articulation it's going to have. I know Super Battle Droids aren't known for their wild, crazy poses that you can put them in, but I still want a toy that you can put into fun poses. But I know one of the things you guys brought up was like, oh, the feet look great. It looks like it won't fall over. But, I would have said that about a couple other figures that looked great and still fall over. It's all about that top weight and how top heavy it is and stuff. So I'm just holding reservations. I'm buying it. Absolutely. I'm a Hasbro Pulse member, premium member. So I was like number 1 in line to pre-order it because for whatever reason, they made this exclusive for an hour to premium members, which is nice, I guess, to have something for that $50 that I'm spending a year.
Yep. Yeah, fortunately, I was able to get it. Luckily, it didn't sell.
It's still not sold out. It's still in stock.
It's probably because of the 3PO head.
Probably.
I would think.
Yeah, people are army building this. Like with the clone 2-pack, people were buying,
you could
of those.
You could army build both of those.
Even I don't know, like maybe even you think people are buying multiples of the Mace Windu pack because of that clone? Like, are they going to have clones of Mace Windu just hanging out so they can get that extra clone?
Yeah, he's Snoke, so that's why they want multiple.
Mace Snoku.
But yeah, so this retails for $49.99, which
fine. The price of 2 figures.
$25 a figure. That's perfect.
I would have liked more accessories.
We're gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
I would have loved a wrist rocket or two.
Yep.
To make it a $54.99 or make it a $59.99 with a couple wrist rockets or whatever. I would have happily paid the price for that.
I think any 2-pack like this should come with some kind of blast effects, like for the guns, explosions to put on something. The alternate B1 head would have been great. Something for the battle droid. There's so many things you can include with a battle droid? I know basically they're just them and they've got the gun built into their, hand, so they don't have anything to hold, but like you can use your imagination. There are things that you can put in there. So I definitely would have liked something besides just the blaster for the C-3PO droid.
Yeah, I love the I love the 2-pack concept.
Yeah.
Like I've always been a proponent on this podcast of bringing back 2-packs, and this year, whenever we talk about hits from the Black Series, we're going to talk about the return of 2-packs. But the perfect 2-pack was kind of that Cad Bane 2-pack work because it included blast effects that you couldn't get in the main line. So I think if you're going to do 2-packs, I think they should just include blast effects almost every time. If it makes sense, have blast effects coming out of blasters and wrist rockets and all that. So I got one pre-ordered. I didn't do multiple. Did you only did one on these also?
Yeah, just one. I don't need more than one, for sure.
Yeah, and I've actually seen Facebook group posts on Facebook in those Black Series groups, not the Black Series Cantina Facebook group, but other ones. That somebody said, and forgive me if you're a Black Series Cantina podcast listener, but somebody said, I'm going to be so mad if they release the Super Battle Droid individually after this 2-pack. And I don't understand that because they're going to. That's kind of dumb. That's so appalled.
dumb.
I was appalled. I said,
I don't know how to say that nicely. Honestly, that's a dumb sentiment.
They're going to. Everybody
100%.
knows they're going to.
Yeah, there's no way this is going to be the only release of this figure. There's zero chance. Absolutely zero chance.
100% new mold in a 2-pack. This is getting re-released in a single pack. And
honestly, I hope
every
sooner rather
box,
than later.
I think.
I want,
honestly,
I want next year to be the year of the Super Battle Droid.
Yeah, we kind of had a couple years of the clones. Make 2024 a year of the SBD.
I feel like 2023 was the year of Darth Vader. We got like 3 or 4 Darth Vader molds that actually came out or were announced in that year. So that's a lot for one.
Duel's End, ROTJ.
Yeah. Yep. The Revenge of the Sith one.
Yeah.
Another re-release of the original Kenobi one. And the original Kenobi one's only just a year old, so it's not
year of Vader.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2-pack. I love it. I'm definitely in on it. They're definitely going to release Super Battle Droid individually, so if you're not getting the 2-pack. And I like the sand deco on this one because it's technically Geonosis. But I'm looking forward to all the repaints. Give me a clean version. Give me a Jedi Survivor version. Give me a what else is he repainted in? I can't think of anything right now. Give me like a Clone Wars one with like a.
Give me
a Tartakovsky version. With like
give me a holiday one. Give me a credit collection one.
Credit collection. Okay, we're getting crazy now.
Give me a carbonized one.
Give me a holocom one of these. I'd buy a holocom. I mean, that's not a terrible one because Jedi look at battle strategy, battle plans and all that.
Sure.
So yeah, any last comments on the Super Battle Droid 2-pack other than I'm mega hyped for it. You're a little more reserved because
I'm reserved. I'm not hating or anything. I'm not saying like this shouldn't be a thing. Hasbro's wasting time and money on making this. Like, no. That's not the case. I'm just trying to keep myself from being overly hyped because Hasbro's gonna Hasbro. And last time I let myself feel feelings towards a figure, I was hurt. So
last Christmas you gave them your heart. This Christmas you're giving it to someone else.
That's right.
Give it to someone special.
That's right. Special. You have to say it like that. Special. Okay. Yeah.
Insert the sound of that music right here in the podcast.
No, we're not going to. That doesn't count as Whamageddon, by the way. If you've made it this far and we just quoted some lyrics to you, that does not count.
So I'm gonna move on to the next discussion topic. Remove.
We have more things to talk about.
Absolutely, we have a whole rundown here.
Neat.
So there were a couple Q&As, I guess 3.
Yeah.
I am going to be upfront and honest. I only watched like 15 minutes of the first one that I saw that was sent in our group chat. And our friend Lukeness Monster was in them.
Yeah. Lukeness, if you're listening, good job, buddy. Real good job. I just
the best job, if I'm being honest.
Honestly, so I'm just gonna say this: if you're listening to this and you've ever been on one of those, please do not take this personally. Please don't, because I don't mean it personally. But like, you are put in a really cool position to talk directly to the team of Hasbro people. You are essentially becoming the voice of the collective fandom at that point. And you waste your question asking, are we going to get this? Are we going to get that? I can tell you the answer to that. I don't work for Hasbro, but I can tell you, we can't comment on any future. Never ask them that question. Don't ask them if something's going to get made, when something's going to get made. That's not the time or place for it. That is a waste of time. That is a waste of a question. It's like you got a wish from a genie and you're literally wasting it by just accidentally wishing for like a sandwich or something like that. Like you are doing a bad job.
It's when they say, "Can I ask you a question?" They're like, "Yeah, that's your first wish."
And that's your first question. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, did you watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
No, I did not.
There was a spell where they could bring a dead person back to life and ask them 5 questions. And then this whole thing where it's like someone said, "Okay, did you got that?" And he's like, "Yes, I got that. That was one question." Like, the whole conversation was just wasted.
It was like,
because they kept accidentally saying that. And that's 100% what this is. If you are ever put in a position where you can ask the team, there are so many things to ask the team, but you can't put it in a way of, are we ever getting this? Are we ever getting that? You have to phrase the question to be like, maybe instead of saying, are you ever going to do Princess Leia? Because they'll never answer that straight out probably. But you could say something like, are there any stipulations for whether or not you could do Princess Leia? That's probably a question they could answer. Because it's not a direct question on whether it's coming out or not.
Well, also, I feel like almost every question asked, I can just predict the answer. Because even that question, say there is a stipulation that Disney did. I know, I'm just saying, for instance. Yeah. But for a lot of those, even, they'll be like, if there is, they'll say, we can't comment on anything.
Sure.
Like that. So I almost feel like those things are such a waste of time because there's there's almost no questions that they actually give you answers for.
Well, like, so for instance, with the whole Balin Shin Hati situation with their heights, I wouldn't say, why didn't you make them the right height? Because that's combative and it's weird. So
yeah, you got to be like, what went into that?
Yes. What was your process? What did it look like when you were creating that that led to the result that you got? Because that brings out more of a conversation than just accusing them of sucking at their job and demanding to know why they sucked at their job, which is just, nobody wants that.
Absolutely. I agree. But at least one good thing came out of the conversation. And apparently, well, I wouldn't say one good thing.
Yeah, it's not good for you. It's not good for you.
One good answer, or one informative answer is a better way to put it because it's not good. Apparently, this A-list thing they're doing where they're rehashing old mainline characters or evergreen characters, main characters, Darth Vader, Mandalorian, Luke, blah, 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 and so on. That does not replace archive line, apparently. Which I will say, I might still think they're, blowing a little smoke there because I'm not sure they would ever come out and say, yeah, archive's dead. I feel like they could say, no, this does not replace archives.
So let's just by saying it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's Chris answering questions.
I'm saying.
As much as I appreciate the Star Wars team, Chris is a liar.
That dude has literally, one day I'm going to go back and watch every single one.
All face lies.
Yeah. Like there's been like 8 instances where he says something and then it's been the complete opposite, like 2 months later that we see. Yeah. So I wouldn't.
I don't know if it's intentional or not. Maybe he's just misremembering or misspeaking, because I know when you put on the spot like that, you could easily.
That's true.
You know, but
I feel like also
a one-time thing. You know,
I also feel like part of it is he's like, all right, I got to get through this next 45 minutes. What can I do to get through this 45 minutes and then not even worry about what comes later? You know,
right?
Like who's gonna even remember? And then, but the Black Series Cantina podcast is on your ass, buddy.
Get
your facts straight.
We'll never forget.
Exactly,
Chris.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually blowing smoke there, because I don't think they're gonna come out and say, yeah, we're never doing another archive line again. Yeah. They're not going to come out and say this replaces it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting that the Marvel team's doing kind of the same thing now. Just today, they announced a Spider-Man and an Iron Man that are just re-releases of figures they've already done. Their figures, versions. But they specifically said they were releasing them for more casual fans, the people that just are, or they're getting started. It's kind of like Archive. In a sense that it's just they're re-releasing a figure, but they framed it more in the way of like an A-list, where like these are characters that we kind of always want available for people to buy.
And even in the Q&A when they were talking about the A-list, they said it's main characters that the casual person is going to see on the show and say, I want a Darth Vader, I want a Mandalorian.
Yeah. So if I were just getting started with Black Series collecting right now, Darth Vader's like the first thing I would be looking for is what Darth Vader can I get? What Luke Skywalker can I get? You know, or for you, like, what Anakin Skywalker can I get? Yeah.
Oh, there are none. They haven't made one.
There are none.
Years, the Clone Wars.
The last Anakin Skywalker we had was a really hard to get from Target.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ.
Or it was a ghost, and you had to drop $95, and it's very scene specific.
Yeah, think about it. The last Anakin Skywalker we got was 2014, 2013. That's like no, that's not true. We got the episode 2 Anakin Skywalker. When I'm talking about episode 3 Anakin.
Yours, okay? Well, then he got re-released.
Yeah. Clone Wars doesn't count.
Okay. Well, then that one got re-released in 2020.
Yeah, the archive one. Yeah. With the crappy updated face.
There was just a post on a Facebook group that someone found a Anakin Skywalker at like a mom and pop comic shop, and it was $90, and he asked, like, is this a good price? And I went on Action Figure 411 and said, yeah, that's about the going rate on like eBay. And that's crazy. I would never spend that much money on that figure. That figure is not worth $90. I don't care how much.
It's not even worth
Skywalker.
$20. It's so bad.
It's not a good figure.
It's so bad.
You're spending so much money to get a character that I know you like because you want that Anakin. I get it, but it's not a good toy. It's not
at all.
Because like you said, it is from 2013, 2014.
It's so old.
Yeah, it was from the very beginning of the line. It was the end of the first phase. It was the last wave of the first phase, which means it came out in 2014.
Yeah, really bad. Like Obama was president, and that was a long ass time ago. Like long ass time ago.
You were still in high school.
Well, essentially, had just gotten out. But yeah, so I think it's pretty safe to say that the whole A-list thing came from the top down. If Star Wars is doing it, and now Marvel's doing the exact same thing, it's literally Hasbro executives saying, find a way to make money, like easy, cheap money. Casual bait as much as you can. We need these money, and that's obvious because of what happened recently.
Sure. And before we get into that, I mean, I know we as a little shill squad had our whole discussion on the earnings report that you can download. I also had a conversation with Dan Larson, friend of the show, separately that day, where it was kind of eye-opening. That it's public information. You can see basically the things that make Hasbro money and where they want to put their money to continue to make money. And Star Wars is barely a footnote in that. It's so far down the list.
Yeah, the really big things are Play-Doh, My Little Pony, Peppa
Magic
Pig,
the Gathering cards,
Magic the Gathering,
Dragons, yeah. And
Monopoly.
Before you say anything, it's not Dungeons and Dragons, the action figures, because those are all garbage. No one wants them. It's actual Dungeons and Dragons, the books and their apps and all that stuff.
Yeah. all that stuff is
Yep.
Just like whenever I was looking at I wish I had the numbers in front of me to pull up, but the fact that I forget what they labeled them. Was it primary brands?
Emerging brands? And then there were
they had partner brands.
Partner brands was Marvel and Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah, all the licensed stuff. Yeah.
Emerging brands was brands they owned, was like G.I. Joe and
franchise brands and like G.I. Joe and all those ones that they own, and then the big ones are Peppa Pig and My Little Pony and Play-Doh.
You and I and people listening to this podcast
do not
care about.
Thoughts about whatsoever.
We don't follow it. I don't know who all is buying it. Obviously, it's for little kids. It's not even for little kids. It's for like baby kids. It's literally like baby type people. It's no one, unless you're listening to this and you have kids, you might go, oh yeah, that makes sense, because I buy for like every Black Series figure, I buy like 8 Peppa Pigs or something like that. I don't know. I'm not in that world. So it's almost a foreign concept to us. It's like when you think someone's your best friend and then you see them with other people and they're like a completely different person. It's like they're code switching and they're like, and you're like, what? Like you're
happened?
This? Yeah, exactly.
And what's cool about reading that report was, I didn't read all of it, of course.
Me neither. I just kind of skimmed a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you do the control find, and you can find keywords and read paragraphs.
Star Wars, yeah,
Lucasfilm and all that. Well, I thought it was interesting that the report said that for their partner brands, their biggest selling items were Spider-Man toys.
Yeah.
And then later on down the paragraph, it said, to a lesser extent, Star Wars helped keep up the revenue based off new media, like Disney Plus things, like, and it listed Mandalorian and like the recent shows and all that.
Yep.
For whatever
that's why we have 30 plus, entries in the Mandalorian subline.
Yeah.
Because that's what's selling. That's what people are buying.
Yep. Yeah, that's I think it's pretty obvious that that's what Lucasfilm wants out there also, because they think it's the most relevant, and then all these evergreen characters. But Lance Peter Luke raises a question here. He says, are you guys worried we could see the end of the Black Series in the next few years? I'm not at this rate. I think the figures sell at a consistent enough basis. Like, yeah, they go in clearance, but I also think that's just due to how much they make. I think there's still such a big demand for them, and I feel like until that demand, we see like diminishing returns in that. I don't think we're in any threat right now, because TVC just had a hell of a HasLab.
Yeah.
So I feel like Star Wars brand, both lines is hot right now.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like dilute my. Excuse me. Wow. I'm not gonna dilute myself into thinking that Star Wars is gonna last forever. Like Black Series is gonna last forever. There's going to be a point in my life, unless I'm dead.
Don't make me cry, Mike. Don't make us cry at this Christmas season.
Where the Black Series will not be something you can buy anymore. It's going to happen eventually, but do I think it's going to happen within the next few years? No, I really don't. I feel like a lot of that comes down to, like I have a unique perspective because I've been in on the line since the beginning, and I remember what it was like in the beginning. And it didn't sell well at all in the beginning. They didn't make a lot.
Peg warming after peg warming.
Peg warming. Every figure peg warmed, basically. I think it was really hard to find Darth Maul. It was hard to find the Sand Trooper. It was hard to find...
Boba Fett was a little tough for me at first.
Boba Fett was hard to find. But they weren't super hard to find, But I bought the whole first wave. I got Darth Maul off the shelf, and then I didn't buy any of the other ones. But then I've shown this in chat before. If you go back and look at my Amazon purchases, I bought
half off, right?
I bought that Luke Skywalker, the first one, for $11 on Amazon. I think R2D2 was like $15, So they were also discounted then. Like I was convinced that the Black Series wasn't going to make it very far because they were getting so cheap so soon after they got released. So it's not a new phenomenon that this is happening. I think it is happening at a faster rate. I feel like Target specifically,
It's Target.
is getting wild.
Target, yeah.
Target's getting wild. Do I think that maybe we will stop seeing maybe mass release figures like at Target and stuff? That could be. But I think there's enough smaller brands, like smaller stores, Hasbro, Pulse, where the line will still function. I wouldn't mind if they scaled back. So just, we'll get into this more recently, but this year alone, in my master spreadsheet of figures that have come out this year, I have 94 figures.
Wow. Does that include all the SDCC sets and all that?
That's everything. Every figure, not figures that have been announced and haven't come out yet, because I've actually moved all those. I've moved all those over to the 2024 year. So in 2023, and this is counting the Cad Bane, Mandalorian, Tusken Chieftain, because I'm getting those soon. So I put them in 2020.
Well, also that Darth Maul Clone Wars wave at the beginning, end of last year, that kind of balances out because you got those.
That's also true. I got those, end of last year. I got those last year. You're right.
You're kind of balancing out there, anyways.
You're absolutely right. But yeah, so counting, credit collection, counting the comic, the one publication wave we got, all the gaming greats, the holiday figures, all the exclusives, the convention exclusives, anything that was purchasable this year for Black Series. There were 94 releases.
Yeah, that's a lot. The first year there was, the first half year of the Black Series, there was 8.
Yep.
We got a ton of
we got a ton of Return of the Jedi stuff this year, like a ton of Return of the Jedi stuff.
I would say, do you think the Force Awakens might have saved the Black Series line?
I think it helped.
I feel like it would have been plausible that line would have ended if they didn't have a lot of new media to make.
I will say
the rate they weren't.
It was
selling.
really hard. Phase 2. I hardly saw any phase.
The blue waves though. The blue line really sucked. It was bad.
I bought them online. I bought the ones I got from like Entertainment Earth or Amazon. But I think the only time, other than maybe the odd Obi-Wan Kenobi that was re-released in the blue wave, I think I might have seen some in Walgreens, and I bought one full wave from Toys R Us. I think it was the first wave, the one with like removable helmet Darth Vader. Like I got that. I remember being so excited and coming home. I'm like, I finally got a Darth Vader in the line because that was the first one. So that was the only phase 2 figures that I bought from a store. Everything else was ordered online because I couldn't find them. They weren't anywhere. They weren't at Targets. They weren't at Walmarts. They were barely in Toys R Us. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, and I just remember the Han Solo and Greedo 2-pack.
Yep.
The
Toys R Us one. Yeah, it did.
So hard. And the Jabba the Hutt peg warmed. They could not give those away for free.
Greedo himself peg warmed. The slave Leia peg warmed hard.
Real hard.
There were bins of her for like $5 because nobody wanted. She didn't look good. But now people want her because you can't get her. They don't know if they'll ever.
I paid $60 for the loose one at
you paid
ICC.
$60 for objectively a terrible figure.
Oh yeah, it's plain awful.
Just so you could have her next to your Jabba the Hutt.
And it was worth every penny.
Yeah. But
unfortunately,
I even said that in my, I just did a video. I was going to mention this at the end, but I just did a video for all the holiday figures where I kind of open them up and talk about them. My favorite one this year was the Nutcracker, the Purge Trooper Nutcracker, but it's objectively the worst toy of them all. Like it's just the oldest mold. It's got terrible articulation. It's a phase 1 clone trooper body. But I love the paint on it so much that it's my number 1 figure, even though it's a bad toy. And it's the same kind of thing with that Leia. Like she's a bad toy. The Anakin Skywalker, a bad toy.
The Obi-Wan is a really bad toy.
Real bad toy. And it's so weird because even at the time, like I knew this wasn't bad. This wasn't good. Like I feel like it's gotten worse. But even like if you go back and watch my first like worst figures of the Black Series video that I did way back in like 2016 or 2017, Anakin Skywalker was on it. Obi-Wan Kenobi was on it. And before you ask which ones, at the time, those were the only ones. There weren't others to do. You know, the Yoda was on it. The Emperor Palpatine was on it, because they're not good toys. They're bad toys. You need them to fill holes in your collection if you're trying to do displays or whatever, but they're not good toys.
And before we dive into that question Luke just asked, let's still rehash this one just a little bit. I think the biggest threat to this is Lucasfilm.
I agree.
And that's not, I feel like Hasbro is the one that's begging to do Star Wars figures. I feel like, I think they just extended their contract in the beginning of 2022, so we're safe for quite a while. But if Lucasfilm turns around and says, Hasbro, like, you're not quite doing it for us, we're going to remove the license and give it to someone else. That's probably the biggest threat. But I feel like
someone else,
as long as Lucasfilm's making money selling these figures, like, on that license, then I feel like we're safe. But that's probably the biggest threat. I don't think Hasbro's going to cut it, but it would have to be Lucasfilm saying, all right, Hasbro, we're not doing this anymore. You're not producing the results we want. You know, we're giving it to McFarlane, and then we're all.
If they do, will they not allowed to come with blasters anymore? Like,
yeah, right, yeah, or like we'll give it to Mattel or some bullshit, you know. But it won't be the Black Series. It might be a different scale. They might do their own toy thing, and we'll be doing a podcast talking about
honestly,
Mythic Legions.
Exactly. I'll change what I will not buy Star Wars figures made by anyone else but Hasbro. Like, I mean, like, figure arts and stuff are great and stuff, but like McFarlane, they don't make any figures that I like. I've tried. I've bought figures that they've made, and none of them have been anything I appreciate. Mattel's kind of the same way. There's really, like, I've bought He-Man figures and stuff. None of them have the same feel as like a Hasbro figure. I don't know. Like, I know that dangerously makes me sound like a fanboy. I mean, I really don't want to be. I've tried. Like, there are other companies I love. Mythic Legions, love. NECA, I love, but they all also have their problems.
Yeah, and they offer their own sort of, like, every company has its pros and cons, and I feel like Hasbro's sort of perfect for Star Wars because they can do the volume that we need for Star Wars. Like, mass releases because everybody loves it. Everybody's buying it.
Yep.
And new media, old media. I feel like the figure quality has really improved over the last 4 years, I would say.
Yep.
Especially, like, you pick up a modern figure and the joints are amazing. It's like,
they're smooth,
butter
they're
smooth.
buttery.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Yep.
Yeah. But Mike, you do have an Excel sheet for like every year, don't you?
I have an Excel spreadsheet from 2021, 2022, and 2023 because that is what that's when I started doing this. I didn't do it beforehand. Before then I had a running checklist video I would make every year, but 2021 was the first year I didn't do it, or 2020 I think was the first year I didn't do it because there were just too many. It was like that was the first year where I felt like there was just too much. Like I couldn't. It was too much trouble and hassle to really talk about every figure in one video or two videos that came out in a year. Plus, there were other people doing it. And Action Figure 411 was a thing, so I just didn't feel like it was. So for me personally, I've been keeping a spreadsheet since 2021. So, if you're curious, in 2021, there were 68 Black Series figures released that calendar year. In 2022, there were 105 Black Series figures released in that calendar year. And in 2023, there were 94 figures released that calendar year. So we had a huge jump, although 2021 was a weird year because there were a lot of issues.
It was logistical issues.
And that's also, I think, why 2022 had more figures in it. Because
there were a lot of delays.
There were a lot of delays. A lot of the figures we were getting at the beginning of 2022 were delays from 2021. Like there were a lot of the things for the 50th anniversary, which was 2021.
Yeah.
That we didn't get until 2022 because of the logistical delays. And I actually talked about that again in the holiday line because we didn't get the holiday figures that year because they weren't going to come out in time. So they just delayed them a whole year. So we should be on wave 4 of holiday figures, but we're only on wave 3 because we had a year without holiday figures because that started in 2020.
Yes, I'm really interested to see what 2024 brings. Are they going to break that number of 94? You said it was.
Who knows? So far I have 9 releases on 2024. I've got the New Hope Darth Vader, Ki-Adi-Mundi, the Mace Windu Clone Trooper 2-pack, Mandalorian from Pools of Mandalore, the new Paz Vizsla, this is the re-release, R460O, Padme, Anakin, and the Super Battle Droid C-3PO pack. So far, and only of all those, I want like 4 of them. So.
And you don't do the pipeline. You don't put pipelines on there.
Pipelines on a different one. So yeah, until they're pre-ordered. Until they're pre-ordered. Or like with Ki-Adi-Mundi, it's been revealed at the very least, and I know where to put it. So while we can't pre-order Ki-Adi-Mundi, we know what he looks like. We've seen pictures of him, and I know he is an Attack of the Clones figure because we saw the box. So I put him on the list. But yeah, pipeline, we've got R5D4 and Pit Droids, Memo Naden, the Inquisitor Cal Kestis 3-pack with the Purge Trooper and Second Sister.
I forgot all about that 3-pack.
Yep. Wow. Droidica, Phase 1 Clone Trooper, the Mandalorian Night Owl, Darth Sidious, the Clone Trooper Droid, Clone Trooper Battle Droid 2-pack, and then the Heir to the Empire 4-pack.
Ooh, that 2024 prequel beat. It's about to hit real hard. I'm hyped. Let's do it.
Yep. So you wanna go over? Well, we didn't really talk about the layoffs, and it's kind of a bummer thing. To talk
I feel like
about.
we get in the middle of the episode.
We gotta talk about it.
We gotta hit a bummer just to get over it real quick.
Just to get over it, yeah.
Unfortunately, the Hasbro CEO. I thought it was odd that this was just a straight press release.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. To the Hollywood Reporter, just bam, 1,100 people. Because normally this stuff is leaked through like rumors, but they're like, boom, instant. I'm sure they sent him an email the day before, the next day, bam, Hollywood Reporter interview with the CEO on 1,100 layoffs, which is insane business to me. Unfortunately, layoffs are the fastest way for a company to save money. It really, really sucks. But I can confirm that the Star Wars team is safe. So I hope maybe that alleviates,
that was one of my biggest fears. There were I had 2 fears. Obviously, we worried about the Star Wars team. I worried about the Star Wars team, especially like Emily.
You've met them also.
Yeah, like they're. I've talked with Patrick. I've talked with Eric for a while. Like they're cool people. They genuinely love Star Wars. I know a lot of people say they don't really like Star Wars. Like, no, they're like Patrick, maybe not. Like, I'm sure he does on some level, but like you could tell people, like when they were all doing it from home, you could tell who had a personal collection and who just had product from work.
Patrick was the one that had all the recent product behind him, and then Emily was the one with like years of TVC behind her. It was like, I wonder which one actually cares about it.
Exactly.
But Patrick's just Patrick's a marketing guy.
He's a marketing guy. Exactly. He's not designing them. He's not sculpting them. So we know they're safe. I'm a little worried because I didn't think about this, but Dan brought it up when we were talking about it. Emily, not Star Wars Emily, but the other Emily she's like in charge of like everything that's not a property, like G.I. Joe, Power Rangers,
franchise brands.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. So not Transformers, but like anything else, Ghostbusters. Like a week before this news broke, she's like, I'm taking a break from social media, and now I'm like, was this related? Like, did you know it was coming? Like, are you affected? Because again, I like her. She's neat. She's a cool person. So
yeah, it is. It does suck. It's really bad news. I wish there were other ways companies would save money.
Well, they could lower CEO and vice president, like the higher up execs, they could make less money. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it is absolutely true.
So what's his name? Like Josh Cox or something like that. He made like $9 million last year from Hasbro. Like, are you telling me that you need all 9 million of those dollars when you're laying people off? Like you're doing so bad at doing your job that your company's losing money, and instead of you doing something to say like, oh, maybe I'll make less money until we can get back up, instead of doing something for yourself to do better, you're like, no, we're just gonna axe 1,100 people. And I know he doesn't make enough money to counteract 1,100 people, but he could take a pay cut and lay off fewer people. And then you could say, well, I took a pay cut to offset as much as I could, and then we had to let some people go.
Yeah, they could,
like, at the very least, like I meet us halfway or something.
Yeah, so one of the good examples, it's the firm that I used to work for, Ernst & Young. They're the third. I don't remember if I think they're the third largest accounting firm in the world. Well, whenever COVID hit, I worked for them through COVID.
Yep.
And then I left kind of right on the tail end of COVID. But the partners at Ernst & Young, they all took pay cuts so they wouldn't lay anybody off. I think they all forewent their bonuses, which like accounting firm bonuses for partners is massive, especially when you're one of the big four, which is they're one of the biggest four in the world. Like their bonuses are massive. No, they didn't get bonuses, and they took pay cuts, so they didn't have to lay off any of the staff, accountants, admins, support teams, and so I feel like Hasbro has enough executives to where they probably could have done something like that.
Sure.
It's such a big company.
Nintendo did that when the Wii U and the 3DS weren't doing very well. Instead of laying people off or whatever, the executives and presidents and whatnot took a pay cut. And kind of what you were talking about, like when I worked for Apple during the pandemic, and Apple paid us the whole time. And I remember someone saying like it's, you guys don't know how lucky you are that Apple's paying it. And I was like, no, listen, like, I ballpark figures, but like, let's say there's this many like retail employees on an average of like this salary. It ended up being something like $300 or $400 million that they were, paying to keep people working and safe and happy or whatever. Apple at the time was a $2 trillion
It's just such a
company.
Absurd amount. Yeah.
There's the difference between $1 trillion and $100 million. I say $100 million.
I mean, even a billion, like a billion is
a billion. Yeah.
Compared to $1 trillion.
Exactly. People don't realize there's a great video. I can't remember the guy's name where he drove for every mile he went was like $100,000, and he drove across England basically to show how much $1 trillion really is compared to like $1 million, which was him walking across like a parking lot. It's so bad. Videos where it's crazy. Oh, the rice.
Rice. It's like the piece of rice is $1, and then
exactly
the million is like a block of rice, and then the billion is like this entire part of the screen. Yeah. And it's crazy, and
it's ridiculous how much money these companies and people make and have. That it's really a drop in the bucket. It really is.
Yeah, and like I know it's just such a bad timing because Hasbro is one of those companies that has shareholders to report to, and it's just stocks down, and the timing of like they're just looking to save the most money as fast as they can.
Yep.
And it's just a result of them doing bad business over the last couple of years. And I know toy market is down because prices, like if you think about it, prices are up for toys.
It's the price, like 100%.
And I know people say like, prices are going up because of inflation, but as a consumer, I don't give a rat's ass about inflation. Like I just want my stuff as cheap as I can get. And so it's Hasbro's job to find ways to make profit and make it as cheap as possible, but still hit their margins, and they haven't done that. And this is the unfortunate result of bad business and a bad market, I guess. So
the problem is they're extending their issues to us. They're passing it along to us as consumers by raising prices, and they're passing it on to their employees by losing jobs, when the problems are the CEOs and the executives and just making really bad decisions.
Yeah. That's how it works. Unfortunately, the common man.
That's corporate structure. Yep.
We gotta foot the bill for their mishaps.
That's right. Because they can't, if something happens to them, they'll have their golden parachute. Like, they'll be fine. Won't someone think of the billionaires? Won't someone think of what happens if they can't afford a new pool this year? In fact, I was just thinking about that today with Vegas, the Christmas Vacation. Like, the big problem in the movie was, oh no, he couldn't afford a pool. Oh no. And like, one of the jokes they were telling is, his cousin or whatever is poor. Oh, they're so poor. They're living in a van. Oh, they're so poor. You're like, are you serious? Like, this is comedy in the 80s. Was can't get a pool. Oh, they're so poor.
Like, you see that dude's house. You could easily just sell your house, buy a little smaller of a house that has a pool.
Right.
The dude lived in like a 16 bed, 18 bath mansion, probably, from what that house was. Jeez. Like, and he probably bought it for $80,000 in the 80s.
Probably. Probably. If even that. Yeah.
But yeah, that's just the unfortunate news we had to go over.
Yeah.
About Hasbro, and I guess it kind of relates, to Black Series and just the action figure world in general.
Yeah. Right? Well, it directly affects what we buy and stuff. But here's the thing. Like, I just want to say, we're not. Well, actually, you are a financial person. I'm not a financial person. I just have a basic literacy of that from doing e-commerce stuff. So it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about. And I like I said, I work for Apple. Like, I know what kind of stuff goes on behind the scenes, and like executives and like, it's.
I'm sort of a finance person, and I don't even know what's going on half the time.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to speak for you. I don't want to be like, we don't know anything, but like, you're like, actually, I do know, because I went to college and I'm a big kid and whatever.
Well, I mean, I do what I can, I don't know everything. That's for sure.
Can we bring it to something happier?
I'm 100% on board with that. Where do you want to do top 10s? You want to talk about,
let's do top 10s.
Top 10s. All right.
Top 10s.
Who's going first? Let's do your bracket. You want to do your bracket first?
So here's the thing with my top 10. Zach asked yesterday, he's like, do you want to do a slideshow for your top 10s? And I was hesitant because obviously I have a YouTube channel, and like, my biggest video of the year every year is my top 10 list. And I didn't want to release a top 10 list here and then just make a video later. So I did something a little different. I went through my spreadsheet of figures that I made, and obviously that's how I'm choosing my contenders for top 10 for my own personal channel this year. But I chose 32 figures, and I chose 32 because I felt like that gave me a good full bracket.
Yeah, a good barometer there.
Yeah.
Over there.
And I randomized where they went, so I didn't control who was going against who in the beginning. I wanted to be a true just tournament. Like, these people are going against these people, and I can't control anything. So I randomized it, and this is what I had. And take a look at some of these matchups here. Some of these were big upsets. So this is just the first two rounds. I don't want to get to the finale, but for me, the big upsets, we had Cad Bane versus R2D2 right up front. That was really hard. That was tough for me. Not because I think obviously I think R2 is one of my favorites of the year, but I also really liked Cad Bane. I didn't want to see him go out in round one. Same thing with Commander Appo and Harris and Dula. I love both of those figures. Both of them would make it far. To see them pair off in round one sucked.
That's tough.
So I thought that this was kind of a fun way to come up with a top 10 that I necessarily maybe wouldn't have chosen some of these figures on here, but based on who I'm pairing off together, it's a little bit more like real life. Like, I can't really control it over than in the moment. Who am I feeling more,
It's like a March Madness bracket competition.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was going for. So it's a top 10, but it was done via bracket. So I figured out, I went back and finished it, and then went back and figured out who would be a top 10. I did runoffs for third place, fourth place, fifth place based on, who won what. So it was very interesting. So my number 10 for 2023, according to this bracket, is Chrysanthemum. Which I'm kind of surprised. I didn't actually think he would make it based on because he went out in round 2.
Mm-hmm.
But, when you have 32 figures, round 2 is still pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
He's not a perfect figure. He's got a lot of issues. Obviously, the big issue is a little bit articulation on the arms and mostly just lack of accessories. But I'm still glad. I still like him. I
still love the figure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Number 9 was the old Maul, the Master Maul or whatever they're calling him. And I'm happy he made it because this was a figure that when I got, it's sat on my desk for a while. Yeah, really good figure. In fact, I think I like it better than last year's number 1, which was the Clone Wars Darth Maul. This was a surprise to me. The number 8 was the Scar Trooper Mike. And I just, sure.
Because he has your name.
That's what it is. Yeah. I put him on there just because I needed more people. And I'm like, yeah, he was a good figure, I guess. And I just, based on who he went up against, he just kept getting lucky. And I'm like, sure, I guess I like him. So he made it all the way to number 8. Number 7 was Doc Ondar. First Ithorian in the line. Very excited. Didn't love the price of him, but he's hard to say no to. He's a really good figure.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is this, number 6? Should have numbered these on here. We got the Harrison Dula. She's still on my desk. I love her as a toy. She's got ball jointed wrists, just a great likeness, and a fantastic dumper. She got that cake. So just the whole round.
Top notch figure there.
Top notch figure. Yeah. And this is what are we on number 5, I guess. Number 6,
5.
I should look 5. I have the note
5
somewhere. 7, 6, 5. This is 5. Yeah. So 5 is Duels and Darth Vader, and I honestly thought this would be a little bit higher because it's just so good. It's so good. It's just, I know it's Darth Vader that we mostly have, but just all the rips, the tears, the molding, the Anakin Skywalker face under it. Absolutely love it. And then number 4 is the Padawan Ahsoka. Again, part of this, her being so high, she's not perfect. She's got issues holding a lightsaber, and one lightsaber is like weirdly long, but she does look good. And every time she went up against someone, she's like, "Yep, I do like that." She's a figure I think we've wanted in the line for a while, and
Absolutely.
I feel like she looks really good. Number 3 is the Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. Just such it's
that one.
Nearly a perfect Luke Skywalker. Just the articulation, the face.
I think it's the best one we have quite easily.
I think the only thing that really gives it a run for its money is the Dagobah one, and this one is probably more iconic.
Yeah, that's true.
Than that one.
Yeah, I think that's why I would say that one.
Yeah,
it's the iconic look. It has the chest plate switch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad they kept that gimmick from the original one back in 2014. Yeah. And then number 2 is Darth Malgus. This was a real tough decision, and I sat there for a while over who was going to hit the number 1 spot because number 1 and number 2 went head to head.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
the
real
championship
tough.
round.
And the championship round. So I had Darth Malgus versus R2D2, and it had to be R2 because he has not left my desk since buying him. I just keep him here. I love him so much. He's so perfect. He's way overdue for an update.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
He's so nice. I bought him twice.
He's so nice. There you go. Yeah, he's just so good. So according to this bracket, I don't know what it will end up being, and when I do my personal one, I'm going to have 4 figures that I didn't have before. Like at the very least, the Din-Djarin, the new mold one, will be somewhere in there. And some of these figures that went out early, like Commander Appo, I was really bummed didn't make it that far. I don't think the regular Clone Trooper will be in there, but at least Commander Appo will
see. I feel like I like the normal one more than the Appo.
I For me, it's that 5 o'clock shadow, and I like the blue personally.
See, I don't even like. Yeah, I understand that. See, whenever I think about the clones, though, I don't even think about the head sculpt. Like I like that there's one there, but they're all staying on the.
But there is, there is a reason I've had the blank clone just kind of sitting on my desk for a while too. I don't have many desk figures, but right now Hera, the clone trooper, and R2 are all on my desk. Yeah,
you can't really go wrong with either one, and both the molds. In fact, you'll see on my top 10, I'm sure that one might make an appearance somewhere in there.
No spoilers. But yeah, that's my top 10. At first I hated it. I felt so weird and kind of gross. And it left a bad taste in my mouth having some of my favorites get knocked out in like the first round. But when I actually
omissions there that maybe got eliminated a little earlier than you thought.
Commander Appo for sure. I have to go back to the first slide. Let's go back here. Here we go. Commander Appo, the Cad Bane from the 2-pack with Cobb Vanth is definitely on there. Starkiller, I don't know how high he would have made it normally, but like he's a fun figure. He's really cool. So some of these it's a tough year. We've got some absolute bangers. You
can make a top 10 out of the omissions. Like it's crazy.
I feel like we should do a top 20. Yeah. So what's more important is 11 through 20 instead of 1.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and
go ahead.
Pull mine up here. All right. Zach's 2023 top 10. We're going to kick it off with an honorable mention, though. Had to get one in there. I think.
Yeah, I didn't even do an honorable mention.
I'm only going to do one honorable mention, and it's going to be Wicket.
Mine will be Cad Bane. I'm just going to say that. Mine will be Cad Bane.
Yeah. My honorable mention is Wicket. I feel like this figure didn't get into the top 10 for me, but I feel like it's a great figure. They did the absolute best they could. I feel like the nice dark wash on his little robe, the dry brushing paint all over him is really, really nice. It comes with plenty of little bows and hammers and axes and everything, the little spear, everything you need. So Wicket's a fabulous figure, but just not great enough to squeeze into that top 10 for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But a surprise, I think my 10th figure, I had to do Blackseriescantina. Same.
Yeah.
And this kind of shocked me because, so I'll spoil this, Cad Bane didn't make the top 10 for me. And I think it's because, like, I know this figure has a little trouble with the arm articulation, but if you really stay at it and you really do it, you can get it in a pose holding the gun nice. And I feel like the biggest issues with the figure is just thinking about what the TVC figure came with.
Yes, 100%.
And so I didn't want to subtract that from my love of the figure. And also, I gave him the axes, and he's just sitting there holding the double axes with the blaster on his back. But I feel like the paint on him, the details on his face, they painted the back and they dark washed the back, like those, the brown, like he has a box, kind of like a pack on his waist. I feel like they did the vest nice. He's super bulky. And I feel like he just eked out the Cad Bane, but maybe because I was more excited about this figure than I was the Cad Bane, because I was perfectly satisfied with the Clone Wars Cad Bane we got. So Cad Bane didn't make my top 10, or the honorable mention, but he's kind of in that maybe 11 to 13 range, I would say.
Sure. Yeah.
Number 9, which is like what we were talking about. You could make a top 10 out of our 11 to 20 or whatever. It's so hard this year. Number 9, I came with the Clone Wars Ahsoka. So this was a figure that it almost didn't make the top 10, but after really looking at the figures in that 6 to 11 and 12 range, it was just slightly better than the ones on the back end of that. And I love the figure. The way the sculpt is, where they brought that animation form into live action, is near flawless. The paint on mine is fabulous. Even though it has really thin legs, it stands beautifully and like easily. You can get into really good poses. The issue I have is the left hand does not hold the saber. You have to kind of position it in between her index and do something kind of weird to get her to hold it real good. So I feel like another alt hand, holding the saber would have been perfect. And that was just kind of frustrating. And then I also kind of liked the figures in front of this one just a little better. But I feel like it did have to squeeze in there. So I put her at 9. And I was comfortable with it. Number 8, Old Master Darth Maul. Another one I've seen on a lot of people's lists.
He's a good one.
And this figure, like yours, stayed on my desk for quite a while. I know the lower half the legs are reused from the one last year. But he just looks so menacing. I love the facial expression he has. The articulation is just buttery smooth on it. The lightsaber is awesome. The arms are great. I wish he would have came with the hood for the more iconic look from that original scene in Rebels. But I absolutely adore this figure, so he had to be on here. Numero 7, Duels and Darth Vader. Now, I really love this figure. But I felt like since it has the really old legs, I kind of wanted to dock it a little bit. But I do love... But it had to be on the top 10 somewhere because the design work of the helmet and the face underneath. And the fact that they painted the other side of the face with the eyes even painted is incredible. They did the new chest, the box there that's damaged. They even sculpted the back of it underneath the robes to have the marks in there, which is incredible. It's got the nice butterfly joints on there. Really love this figure. I was actually surprised it didn't make the top 5, but at the end of the day, I just thought the ones ahead of it were maybe just like I favored those a little more. Number 6 is the 40th Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker. I'm in love with this figure. I think it's the best Luke we have. Maybe it's because I've been wanting a new version of this for so long, but I feel like the chest swap they did amazingly. I feel like it's the best Hamill likeness we've gotten in a really long time, maybe ever. And it's just such a classic, iconic figure. I feel like I could swap this and the Duels End Vader. Like every day I'll look at maybe the Duels End Vader and like it more than this, and then I'll look at this one and like it more than that. So they're pretty interchangeable, but right now I just feel like I love that Luke so much. I've been wanting it for so long, and it's my favorite version of Luke. I mean, of course. Now we're getting into the top 5. So I just went with Clone Wars 3.0 mold here. So I'll put both the blank and the Apo on here. Because same body, just with some extra.
Yeah, it's basically the same figure for sure.
It's the same figure.
I'll count it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
my
can pick
wife
either
will
one
give me
and put it here.
my wife will give me crap though. She's like, no, it's one spot. You can only pick one figure. And like every time I do it, I try to sneak in an extra figure like this, where it's like, it's the figure. Like, how do you choose?
Whenever we did our last 10, your last 10 was nothing but like 4 packs. So you really had like 40 figures on there. So I know exactly where she's coming from.
I love toys.
And that's why we do the podcast. So it all works out. But yeah, I think if I had to pick one, I would do the blank one. Like, I love the 501st, but I do still like the original version, like the more theatrical look. But the blank one on the left is it's so perfect to me. I feel like even though the 5 o'clock shadow thing, there are a couple out there that don't have the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, it was Caleb Clone Command on our last Patreon VIP streaming session. He opened one up and it did not have a 5 o'clock shadow. It was very interesting. I think for me, someone pointed out, like, we really don't see many blank Phase 2 clones in Star Wars. All of them are usually part of some sort of squad, which means they're colored. So I think that's kind of one of the things that draws me towards the 501st Oppo.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but this figure is just so perfect. The bicep swivel, the knee pads being in the appropriate movable space is so awesome. The shoulder pads, just everything about it. I just absolutely love it. Top 4 now. Darth Malik.
Oh, this was one that upset me. I forgot about him. He was another one that for me went out on like wave 1. And I was like, damn.
He's so good. Like the paint on him, the soft good underneath the neck collar, the sculpting of the head, all that damage, and underneath the mask with the little box, and you can clip the mask over it. He has the nice space for the lightsaber hilt right here, which is awesome. He's a bigger figure. He's not as big as Malgus, but he's still large.
He's still pretty big.
Jedi.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I just feel like they knocked it out of the park.
So
beat him?
Yeah, it was the Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, round 1. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker versus Darth Malik, and I just chose Skywalker.
That's a 2 heavy hitters colliding in the first round.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have hit the randomizer one more time.
I should have. Maybe I'll do it again and make sure that like no big hitters are going head to head in like round 1.
Right. Well, you could like seed them yourself 1 through 32.
I could. Yeah, you're right.
But in that case, it's essentially a top 10 because
and that's why I didn't do it. Yeah, that's why I didn't do it because I'm like I'm making a top 10 if I'm doing it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, I picked Doc Ondar. It's just so good. I feel like what it came down to, the sculpt is brilliant. The accessories it comes with are really awesome. I also felt like the soft goods underneath the harder cloak worked really well on this one. So that's
they need to do more stuff like that. Like I would love for them to take another crack at Bib Fortuna and do this. It would be of soft goods.
It'd be a lot less of a traffic cone. I think this is the way to do it. If you can have soft goods is best whenever there's something stiffer holding it in place.
Correct.
And I feel like they really nailed it. Just the sculpt on it and everything. I felt like it was easily top 3 for me. And then number 2, I had R2D2. I feel like this was just undeniably a top 2 figure for me. The moment I got it, I was saying this could be figure of the year for me. I'm in love with this R2. All the accessories, the way the head pops up for the accessory storage, and what potentially maybe could be later on. We'll see how that goes with the maybe potential HasLab opportunity. All the accessories and like the paint on the accessory, the paint detail on the figure, I think is great. I wish we could have gotten the rockets, the little jet boosters, but I know those aren't really an original trilogy type thing. But yeah, absolutely in love with R2. Had to be a top 2 for me. And then number 1, Darth Malgus, of course, just the most imposing figure we probably have in the Black Series. What sold it for me is just all the design intricacies on the chest and the wrist is amazing. The sculpt on the legs and the hips, like all that is so good. But the face sculpt and the mask, the way those interact with each other is just top-notch Black Series for me. And what really sold the figure for me, because we have like, those older Palpatine figures where the figure looks great, but then you put the hood on and it's like, what are you doing? Like, where's the afro you're hiding because the hood is so like 10 inches up in the air? Like, but the soft good hood on this is probably the best we have in the line because the hard plastic shoulder pads that hold it in, underneath that neck collar, it actually holds it, it layers it really nice to where the robe actually goes right on his forehead and on it's like it lays down the side of him so perfectly. So Darth Malgus had to be my number 1. I feel like it was kind of an easy choice for me. So yeah, there's the top 10. That was a really tough one to make because some of the omissions were Cad Bane, the Endor Rebel, Fourth Sister.
Those were all
those. She's another. I feel like she's one of the more underrated figures of the year because.
I would say she's probably the most underrated figure of the year.
Yeah, like the eyes and the face paint on her are really insane.
You know what? I have to make a change. I think I have to replace Scar Trooper Mike with the Clone Trooper because I'm looking back at my brackets and I clearly meant to make the clone. There was in round 2, it was Scar Trooper Mike versus the Clone Trooper phase 2. And I distinctly remember saying that the Clone Trooper won, but it put the Scar Trooper forward on the bracket somehow. So he should be in the top 10, not Scar Trooper Mike. I should have checked that. I thought it was kind of weird how he made it that far.
The Clone Trooper is really, really good.
Yeah.
One of the easily top 5 for me. It had to be in the top 5.
So if I put him in place of the Scar Trooper, what did that make mine? That would have made him number 8.
8
on my list.
Yeah. Top 10. Cracks the top 10 for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, I had such a hard time. And
it's hard.
I've been dreading making that list because of how hard.
Even the ones I have on here, I don't know who I would like it to put in Cad Bane or Darth Malak. I don't know who I would take out to put in there. It's really hard. Exactly.
Yeah, like I'm interested to see, is this the best year 11 through 15 maybe, or 11 to 20?
Let's take a look. Why not? I have a spreadsheet. I can tell you definitively what figures came out what year. And why can't I? There we go. Okay. So let's take a look back at 2022 real quick here. So we had
to create a 2022 top 10 real fast.
No. But just scrolling through it, we had a lot of Andor figures that came out that year. We had like Figure and Dan, that Ralph McQuarrie 2-pack. Again, some of the stuff from 2021, like the George Lucas Stormtrooper, and then like the weird 40th anniversary Akbar that squeaked in at the end, like in December of 2022. That's kind of the first figure we got from that. I'm just kind of looking at a lot of credit collection in there.
I feel like this was the best year for the non-top 10.
Like we had some bangers, but even like, so for instance, if
because
Fennec Shand, if Fennec Shand came out this year, I don't think she would have been in the top 10. Death Watch Mandalorian. Yeah.
Fennec's one of the best figures in the line, though. Fennec is so good. Fennec was my number one figure last year.
Grand Inquisitor. I think Saw Gerrera was in my top 10 in 2022. He wouldn't be.
Yeah, I think he might have been this year. I think he was like 9 or 10 for me. Maybe I'd have to look at the list. Yeah, Grand Inquisitor. Because I remember I had Reva like an honorable mention, 11.
Yep.
I think this year
would have been it was in my top 10. He wouldn't be this year for sure.
Yeah, I think this year's 11th or 20 is easily clears 2022's
easily
20.
Yeah.
Honestly, 11th or 20 might be better than 5 through 10 from last year.
So yeah, what came out this year? We got a bunch of 40th anniversary figures. We got the Endor Rebel Soldier, Wicket.
Yeah, Wicket, Luke, Gamguard.
Yeah, Boba Fett. The Boba Fett I felt bad for because it's such a good figure, but I feel like so many people
already
thought it didn't. Well, they already had it, or they didn't think it came with everything the original came with, and they were dogging on like the price and stuff. But it's, I mean, like it is a little bit more expensive than the original one, but not that much more. It's like $2 or $3 more than it was when it originally came out.
Yeah,
like it's kind of weird. I didn't get the TIE Fighter pilot and Royal Guard 2-pack. That was the figure that broke me. That was the set where I'm like, I'm not buying that, and I still haven't. So you can see on my list, I've marked who I bought and like what I haven't bought. So definitely not a completionist this year. I think the Force Ghost 3-pack was probably the most surprising release for me. Like I could have made a list 100 figures long and probably would have never come out with a 3-pack.
Yeah, most surprising. That Jabba the Hutt set was super surprising too.
Yeah, it's true.
I was not expecting that. Like both of those, whenever they announced those back to back, that was really crazy.
Yeah.
Also, we got a lot of really surprising stuff like there. Doc Ondar.
Yeah.
Like that's like who would have predicted that? That's really crazy.
Nope.
Before a Maimon Nadon.
Well, and then we also got a new show, Ahsoka, where like, at the beginning of the year, there weren't really any Ahsoka figures on our list because we didn't know who to even put on there. Obviously Ahsoka, but like Merrick wasn't in our heads. That was not a name.
Not at all.
Or Hu Yang. Most people, I would argue, unless they saw the Clone Wars, no one would know who Hu Yang was.
Yeah, also all that stuff was definitely yeah.
Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, as all unexpected because we didn't know them as characters.
Also, like how hard they went on the Knights of the Old Republic action figures. Like who would have thought that they were going to dive so deep into that? And with Starkiller, all these old video game characters, they're just diving in, and it's absurd. And I'm glad they're doing it because they're knocking them out of the park. They're all really great figures. Yeah, and I didn't put Starkiller in my top 10 because I felt like I like the accessories of the set more than the figure itself. And
I bought the extra figure just so I could display more accessories.
And I felt like if I put it in the top 10, it was kind of an unfair advantage because of Of course, it'd be number one because of everything it comes with. You know, how can you compare that set with, you know, the Clone Trooper? You know, so I was I was like, if it was just the Star Killer, then it wouldn't be in the top 10. Yeah. So I decided to omit it.
Yeah. I definitely think the Magna Guard was probably the biggest disappointment easily of the year for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Biggest disappointment, Magna Guard. Just a borderline trash figure, unfortunately. Yeah. Like, he looks cool when you get him in a pose, but you have to almost treat it as a statue or it's just going to frustrate you.
Yep.
You just can't touch it again.
And it basically becomes a statue at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still haven't even boiled my leg because I got him in kind of a pose, and he's actually still on my desk. I just haven't moved him. I just got him in this pose and with his bent leg out forward, so you can't even, when he's standing there, it kind of looks okay.
Yeah.
So that's just his pose forever. Never going to touch him again when he goes on the shelf. Unless
I think the battle damage General Grievous was probably like, why is this a thing?
Yeah. That was kind of odd. That was really odd.
Just because it's so similar, like, it's really not that different. Like, the paint apps aren't that different from the one we got. It just comes with less. It comes with less than the original one did.
Whenever they pipelined it, I was thinking, can they maybe retool this just a little bit with like a
face, or maybe he's missing an arm or something? Yeah.
Or maybe they do they put some flame effects coming out of his eyes or something in his neck. You know, like that old Revenge of the Sith figure that has all the fire.
Chest, popping open or something. Yep. Yeah.
You know, maybe retool it a little bit, give us some of that. But so that was kind of a letdown also. But definitely one I didn't buy. Scorch was a surprisingly amazing figure because I feel like I was kind of burnt out on those, and then they announced Scorch, and it's like, whoa, all this stuff they added on him.
Yes,
top
absolutely.
Tier.
Yeah,
top tier.
In fact, Scorch, because he was in my top 10, he made it to the second round against the Endor Rebel Soldier, but he lost to Duck Onder.
Rightfully so, I'd say.
Yeah, so better than Endor Rebel Soldier, but not as good as Duck Onder. So it was kind of an interesting way to pick a top 10, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was interesting that Cal Kestis, the newer one, would have cracked like the better figures from the beginning half of the year, but I feel like the second half of the year slate was so heavy that it just kind of, that's one that fell off.
I know 100%. If I could make a top 10 figures from just the first 6 months, like Wicket would be in it, Cal Kestis would be in it, like the Fourth Sister would be in it. I could easily make a top 10 figure list just from January to like June or July. But it's just, the problem is the second half of this year, we've just had banger after banger after banger. Where it got so hard.
Black Series is kind of on fire right now.
Yeah. I will say I had the opposite reaction to Pre-Vizsla that I did to the Magna Guard. I don't know why I keep saying Magna Guard. Where like I went into expecting to hate it. Because like, you know, I was kind of pre-programmed to hate it. And I don't love it, but I like it a lot better than I thought.
Flight stain certainly helps, I'm sure.
It does. Yeah,
because I guarantee you, if I set this on my shelf and it knocks over my Clone Wars display in 2 days, it's going to make me rage and I'll throw it at the wall. That's what. Do you want
to know what my hot take for the year is?
Shoot.
I don't love Fives or Jesse. Like, it's cool that we got them. It's cool that we got them, but I don't know. Like, I don't love them, but I just don't. I'm not hyped that I own them. They weren't even a content. I didn't even think about putting them in my top 10.
Yeah. They didn't crack top 10 for me, but they'd probably be in that maybe 15 to 20 range.
I don't think they would even be there for me.
Not even there.
I had 32 figures in my bracket, and none of those were in there. I don't know. I just don't care. I want to, but Jesse's got the wrong helmet. Fives is he's fine, but I don't know.
Well, the logo is just so small because the helmet's weird.
Yeah, I know. Kind of kills it for me. I was kind of surprised. Like I put Scar Trooper Mike 100 times in there before I put Fives or Jesse.
Interesting.
I did put Mara Jade in my top 32 when I was making the bracket. Because I mean the Jaina Solo body she's based on is one of my favorite bodies in the whole line, and Mara Jade's just one of those characters. Since I grew up with the EU, I was just really excited to get her finally.
Yeah, I still didn't pick that one up, the Mara Jade. I've just never been into that character, so
sure.
You know, my Luke Skywalker is celibate.
So the canon Luke Skywalker then.
Yeah, the one that was like, you know what? I'm not interested in girls. I'm gonna go die on an island.
Canon virgin Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's
I'll be honest.
Luke Skywalker.
I'll be honest. Like, you know, I don't have any problems with the sequels or major problems, and I like the Last Jedi's portrayal of Luke Skywalker. And then there's a 30-year history that we don't know what happened to Luke really in those 30 years. But like, I didn't want him to be like a celibate monk. Like, I don't care if he was if sequel, you know, new canon trilogy Luke is into dudes, that's fine. Ladies, cool. But I want him to have some kind of companionship. I don't want him to be just a lonely loser sitting by himself on a mountain. You know, I want him to be happy and with someone.
See,
that's what I want for him.
I was hoping he was there for a purpose other than what the purpose ended up being for.
I get it. I get it.
And so you want to talk about another big miss of 2023?
Sure.
The Holocom collection.
Oh, did I put those on here? I didn't.
Oh, so you're a liar. Those weren't on the 2023 list.
Oh my god!
So we actually have.
How did I miss those?
We actually have. Yeah, how many did they do of those? 5, right?
I think
5 or 6.
Han Solo.
It was Han, Axe, Ahsoka, Bo,
Bedpan. It just autocorrected Bespin to Bedpan. Thank you, computer. Holocom. Is it Holocom or is it Bounty? What's it called?
Holocom collection.
Okay.
HOLOCOMM.
Yeah.
Collection.
2 M's. There we go. I'm just gonna put Holocom because
that's what I would do.
Yeah. So I got X Woves. We got what's the girl?
Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, and Mando.
Ahsoka, Mandalorian. Okay. So that puts us at 99 figures.
What's the one the header line? Okay, yeah, one's your header. So 99 figures. We didn't crack 100. So yeah, look at that. No, 99 figures exactly as of now. But by the end of the year, when Mike gets that one wave, it'll crack 100.
Oh no, I've already got that.
Are those already on there?
Yeah, those are already on here. They're up here in Book of Boba Fett.
So Hasbro went a little light on us. Instead of 104 or whatever you said it was, it's only 99 this year. They gave us some relief.
Yeah, 2022. And again, a lot of 105. Again, a lot of those were because of figures coming out in 2021 that were delayed. So it was really less than that.
Yeah.
You know, it just because of logistics and whatnot. So I got the Han Solo best.
Yeah, but so the Holocom collection, I feel like people were looking forward to it.
Yep.
But because it was long rumored by Yakface.
Yep.
But it just ended up being something that I thought it was just kind of lame in the end.
Yeah.
I feel like from what I've seen, they don't work that well. I still need to pick one up just to have the representation in the line.
I got the Han Solo, and honestly, I kind of hate him. Like, even as just a translucent figure, I just don't love it. I don't know.
I just feel like they went about it the wrong way. Instead of doing the bounty thing, they should have done just sort of an in-universe hologram.
Hologram projector. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like a holographic Darth Maul.
Yeah.
From the Phantom Menace would have been because there's literally a shot of him in the Phantom Menace where he's nothing but a hologram standing next
Maul,
to a hologram.
Sidious, put him on little spider walking thing. Give us more like a Sidious and a little spider walk thing.
Yeah, that's what the base could have been for the Darth Maul one, and then, but it's just a way to release that same base 5 times, and then with figures they've already released multiple times in the past, or to release them again another time with a gimmick with slightly changed plastic.
I would
they have the mold already, so that's all I got to do. Translucent plastic, and then put.
That's all I have to do is they just remold it in translucent plastic. I was surprised how many Obi-Wan figures we got this year.
Yeah, was it 4? Right?
Oh, we got no. I just mean
the show. The show.
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 releases.
And we still haven't gotten a little Leia, which is what we need.
Or Luke. Yep. But Leia is arguably more important because she was
actually
a lot more than Luke was. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I still want a little Leia from that show and an actual removable helmet of the Darth Vader with the younger Hayden and not the Sebastian Shaw face.
Fine.
Which one? What's your favorite Obi-Wan that we got?
Probably Mythos.
I agree. It's the best one.
I just the Jedi Legend, the one where they're calling it. Yeah,
Jedi Legend.
And it's a cool look for him, and the head sculpt is good. It's easily the best non-prequel. That's probably. Would I say it's the best Obi-Wan? No, I think Clone Wars Obi-Wan.
Clone Wars Obi-Wan's my favorite.
Yeah, not the Jedi Commander or General Obi-Wan, the one that everyone freaks out over.
Yeah, that's the one right here. And
yeah.
That one right there. Yeah. That's the one. That's the best one. That's
the 2008 Clone Wars one. That's the best one.
Yeah, that's always been my favorite figure in the whole line. I think Dual End Vader is like close.
Yeah.
Because I'm absolutely in love with that.
I think I think the Jedi Legend one might be second to that. Just kind of thinking over it. Like I really like that one. And Tiburon Station's up there too, but the Jedi Legend and then maybe episode 2 or episode 1 Obi-Wan, but I don't know.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
You know what you should do since you like the Tiburon Station Obi-Wan so much? Pop the head off yeah, there you go. Pop the head off that Jabim Obi-Wan. Yeah. Plug it onto that one so you have a good head sculpt.
That's
on the
smart.
one that you like the most. Because you could tell just looking at those that the first 2 that were released, the Wandering Jedi and Tiburon Station were rushed to get out for the show, and then the next 2 were Jabim and Jedi Legend were actually used. Looks like they used the photoreal and took their time on it.
That's real smart for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Especially if people are going to be removing Obi-Wan from the shelf, I would definitely pop the heads off and use the ones that you like the better too. Sure.
Yeah, I think sometime in the next 3 weeks or so, I just need to go through my shelves and just take down figures that are like redundant. Like I've got 2 and again, there's no hate on the character or anything, but I've got 2 Dr. Aphras. I've got the original one and then the comic one. And I just don't need 2 Dr. Aphras on my shelf. Like, so it's stuff like that where like I only need 1 Rey on my shelf. I only need 1 Princess. I guess so. It comes hard when you look at Princess Leia. Like maybe I only need 1 Empire Strikes Back Princess Leia. But then how do you choose?
But then you need that
off or Bespin Escape? Because it's tough. It's tough to go through and start taking things out like that.
Yeah, it really is, especially whenever you're just so used to having every look of every character on the shelf, and then doing that to create space. So while we're looking back at 2023, I feel like it's important that we go over the Return of the Jedi 40th.
Sure.
Do you think that was a hit? Do you think that was a success? What did you like? What did you dislike out of the Return of the Jedi 40th waves?
I mean, I feel like there should have been like one more wave, and I know they usually don't, But I feel like there were so many figures I would have still have liked to have seen on those 40th anniversary cards that we didn't get. And I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but like, or there were some weird choices like Bib Fortuna. Was he really one that we needed another release of?
Yeah,
like he would
not.
Or the Lando Skiff Guard that had also just been released
in the archive.
In the archive. Same with
General
Palpatine.
Lando.
I would argue that Palpatine is probably a more important character because he's like a Darth Vader. He's like the bad guy of the movie.
But the fact that they had already released him,
exactly.
I'm glad we got a carded version on 40th. But
as you guys signed.
They shouldn't have done the archive. That's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of the reverse of that. So
well, and they say they did the archive for figures that are valuable on the third market on the aftermarket, but that's not the Palpatine that's valuable. The Palpatine that's valuable
comes with a chair.
Is the chair version with the heads and the hands and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I felt that's the one they need to archive or re-release somehow.
It would have made more sense to me if they archived just like what they archived, keep that 100% the same, and then for Return of the Jedi 40th, put that Amazon exclusive chair version in a 40th box, like a package, kind of how they did the Jabba the Hutt.
What would have been a really cool, maybe a Comic-Con exclusive or PulseCon exclusive, is a 3-pack with that chair and then Darth Vader and and Luke Skywalker like fighting.
Kind of like the Caboth and the
exactly, like where you had kind of a little diorama in the package and it came with all those figures. I probably would have bought it just to display it in the package like that, honestly.
Could you imagine if they did sort of what they did with the Thrawn set? You get this big set and it comes with the throne and some background
all the stuff
imagery and all that. They could have done something like that for the Palpatine and it would have been a little better, but still, nonetheless, having the 40th carded is sweet because I did get it signed. Because Ian's a legend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I feel like for us, since we're diehards, we were kind of hoping for more of those, maybe side characters like a Weequay we can put next to Jabba.
Sure. Yeah.
Some
any of those
cards.
Guys. Yeah.
Sort of stuff like
There's
that.
There's so many Jabba's palace denizens that we haven't seen in the line that are desperately needed. Yeah. And like, did we really need a biker scout? I feel like that's been re-released every time there's ever been anything, any reason to release that, they have.
Yeah, carbonized archive.
Yeah. And it's such an old mold now where like, it's such an old mold at this point that I like even the Stormtrooper was the new Stormtrooper body, which is fine. Like I get it. Stormtroopers are more traditionally army built. And as much as I love the Biker Scout, we just didn't need another 40th anniversary Biker Scout.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Chewbacca was neat but weird.
Very scene specific.
Yeah.
It's been a peg warmer. I've seen it at my Walmart. Yep. I think I bought it for like $9. It was crushed at my Walmart, so that was clutch.
And it's weird that he and Wicket are the only ones they've released in like the main line so far. Mm-hmm. Like all the other, because we had some new figures. We had we had Wicket, we had the Endor Rebel Soldier, we had the Luke Skywalker. Technically, Poplu hasn't been released in the main line yet, even though he's been released twice. Removable helmet Darth Vader. R2 I guess he got released in the main line, even though he's not Return of the Jedi. It's the same figure.
Yeah, the Mandalorian packaging because he shows up for 3 seconds at the end
3 seconds
of season 2.
In fact, I totally forgot about that. I was like, when was he in the Mandalorian? Like I literally just completely forgot that he was at the end of season 2.
And it's funny, it would have made more sense for it to be a Book of Boba Fett appearance because he actually
he was in there way more
in that episode.
Yes, he was in there.
He's even the one that drops Grogu off at the end to fight the Rancor, and all that.
It would have made so much more sense to put him in Book of Boba Fett packaging, because it would have bolstered the ranks of the Book of Boba Fett figures, which again, it's nice that we're finally getting some of those. We got Chrysanthemum, we got the Luke Skywalker Grogu build up pack, which I liked. I will defend that.
Yeah,
to the
I
death.
liked it. I wanted that as soon as I saw the episode. I was like, we need a Luke and Grogu pack like now.
For sure. Yeah. I love the idea of the Cad Bane Cobb Vanth 2-pack. It's weird that if they hadn't made the Cad Bane like also single packed, I think doing both was weird.
It's weird they announced the 2-pack before fulfilling orders for the single pack, because a million people canceled that single pack.
I'll be honest. So today when Amir sent me the text saying like, hey, you got the new wave, and I responded like, cool, I'll take them all but Cad Bane. And then like a minute later, I was like, you know what? I'll take Cad Bane.
Oh, they got you.
Well, I figured, I might do it as a giveaway or something like that. Like, I probably won't open it, but I might do it just for like the TikTok video, because I do the unboxings and stuff, and people can see it's in the wave. Like, I'll have some kind of use for it, but I probably won't. I definitely won't
actually display
it. I probably won't. Yeah. But yeah, I think Pre Vizsla was another one. Like, why? And again, I think we've seen this before, where it just feels like that's a figure that's probably been sitting somewhere for a long time, like years.
Yeah, it's been on the back burner because of all the media, and they were like, squeeze it in somewhere.
Where like it felt that way with like Jar Jar, where like it just kind of feels like with where articulation and stuff was when it came out, you're like, it doesn't feel like it matches up. It feels older, and I just feel like things with like the Ahsoka show, they pushed things back last year with Obi-Wan. It pushes whatever they have planned back.
Yeah, media releases
push what they have planned in the normal way back. So it kind of throws things off, and that's why we're getting a Pre Vizsla now. It probably should have come out. If it had come out 2 years ago, it wouldn't have been a big deal. I'd be like, oh, that's just the Mandalorian body. Like that's not weird. But now that we have a better one, and we had like a nice little Hanukkah version that came out in the holiday section, like why?
And another topic on 2023, the kind of the reemergence of multi-packs has even ones that have been announced and not even released yet. Like those are actually becoming a staple in the line now, which is
so much so that I made multi-pack its own little category, its own little column on here, so I can see like we have 8 multi-packs that were released.
And then we have quite a bit more on pre-order and pipeline.
Yeah. So next year,
really
we've got
the multi-packs.
We got the Mace Windu 187th. Oh, you know what else I don't have on here? I don't have that Clone 2-pack. So that's next year.
The Target one. So that's 2024.
Yeah. So that's the next year's one. I'm just gonna put Clone 2-pack. I'll get the names and stuff. I know it's like 501st and whatever, but that's what was that? Revenge of the Sith?
No, that was that Clones of the Republic?
No, it's not
Target. The Target one was. Let me look. I have it on my favorites right here. I'll pull up the app real fast. That is Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Oh yeah, that's right. Because it's a flashback. That's right. Ahsoka.
They had to find a way to get it in the new media.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because it's the lieutenant or the 501st, and then the Ahsoka's clone trooper. But they called it the lieutenant, even though it's quite clearly the 501st. Yeah. But those
whatever, and that's one of those things. Like I get why people are upset. Like it's a silly mistake to make, but is it really that big of a deal? Like what it is when you open it up on the shelf. No one from Hasbro is going to be like, oh, you can't call it that. You've got it on the wrong shelf. You're playing with this wrong. Like it can be whatever you want. Like why don't?
Which if I were an inbox collector, maybe I'd be more, like. Maybe I'd feel some type of way about it, but I literally could not care less. Like I don't care about the Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
That box is thrown away somewhere.
Or the Kyrkanos Jax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I mean, it's on my shelf. I call him Kyrkanos, even though the box said Carnor Jax. Like I don't care, but I could see your point where if someone's an inbox collector, they're just constantly going to be reminded that this is the wrong name. and I guess it might bug someone, but I feel like it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, true.
Wilbon does have a point. We really should have gotten more General Lando in the 40th anniversary.
Yeah, they should have done a wave of nothing but General Lando.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's just not enough of him on the pegs to go.
We should have gotten a carbonized General Lando. We should have gotten a credit collection General Lando. There's
Holocom General
Lando. Absolutely.
You know he's sending messages.
Oh, for sure.
Somebody's got a bounty on General Lando. That's
holiday General Lando. Why not?
Yeah, have him baking some cookies or something. But yeah, multi-packs, they are back, and they're gonna be heavy in 2024, which is
we've got awesome. In the pipeline, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Half of our pipelines are multi-packs right now.
Yeah, and that 4-pack of Luke, Mara, Luke, and Joris Kaboth or whatever his name is. Like, that's the most surprising, absurd thing they've done, and
absolutely bonkers.
It just opens the door to so many other possibilities of multi-packs they can do.
Which is what I want. That's what I want from the line. Like, one of my favorite things about like that kind of early mid 2000s was there wasn't a lot of new Star Wars properties, so they could go back and do those
older stuff.
Yeah, just like weird, obscure characters and whatnot. Like, just give us that stuff.
Now, I feel like I was kind of wanting to talk about things that improved in 2023, and the thing to kick that off is I felt like character selection this year, it just felt better than in previous years. And maybe that's because we got Return of the Jedi stuff, so that was heavy OT. And then we got a lot of prequel stuff, which felt like it was heavy. And then we got new media. We got Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Mandalorian. But I feel like we also got a good amount of prequels, or OT. Even in the pipeline, we have so many prequel trilogy figures coming up to look forward to. It just felt like character selection was better this year than it has been in the past.
Yeah, I still too many Mandalorians.
Yeah, well, that's a given. I feel like that's never gonna.
And I don't mean Mandalorians as a race. I mean actual like Din Djarin.
Yeah, actual
Mandalorians. Yeah. Although I say that, I'm excited about the Gravis Ringworld one that's coming in.
Well, that's the thing. They sell you the old one, 10 times, and then they get you on the new one 10 times again. So, because the next build-up pack with the new body, we're in on that already. So it's gonna be based on the end scene from season 2 with Grogu, where his helmet comes off and it's got the perfect head. And that's the thing. That's the one I want. If it has the perfect head sculpt, then you gotta buy it. We gotta get it.
That's probably the only thing that would get me to buy a new one, is one with a perfect head sculpt. That, or if one came with like a speeder, like if they did one where he's on the speeder bike at the beginning of season 2 with like all the junk on it. Like if they did that, I would buy it, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and you could also probably just try to swap the Morak one where he's the tank trooper, because that's like a decent sculpt. It's not great, but we know that he's not going on set anymore, so they're probably never going to have a really good digital scan, which might suck. But so the one we got might be it.
Yeah. Oh well.
But nonetheless, Black Series, I feel like, is as on fire as it's ever been, and
it really is
even more than it's ever been. So,
yep.
As far as character selection, like we're getting stuff from Knights of the Old Republic, Star Killer.
Yeah.
Star
Killer is a long way, but we got Mara Jade and Star Killer in the same year, and I think
Malgus,
probably
Bastilla Shan.
Yeah, I think those are some of probably the most requested figures of all time.
Oh yeah, Star Killer was always in my comments.
Star Killer, Mara Jade. I think and now that we've got the Super Battle Droid and Droidica coming out this year, like we're kind of at the point where we're running out of those big ones that everyone's asking for, and it's going to start to break apart into like weird little things.
Yeah, because now we got the Droidica pipeline. We have an Episode 3 Palpatine pipeline, but it's not the
True.
one. It's not. So that's probably the next really
Probably.
big one. And then I feel like after that, it's like we might be just getting into like refreshes.
Yeah, we're getting into like
molds and
what came out a while ago and needs a new version.
yeah,
yeah,
and maybe some background like Max Rebos and stuff like that. So
yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot more. So now for our next episode on January 3rd, we got to make another top 10 most wanted update for the new year. So our listeners can look forward to that. That'll be another hard thing to do because we've had so many wiped out. We've had the Droidka and the Super Droid. And Duels and Vader was up there for me also, and that was wiped out. It's been a good year.
Yep.
We've been
a great year
as Black Series fans.
Oh yeah.
With the new R2, because that's technically, you could put that on your prequel shelf, you could put that on your sequel shelf, OG shelf, you could put that absolutely anywhere. And I'm glad I bought two, so I can.
Well,
I think is that a wrap on 2023? Black Series Cantina?
I do think it is.
Well, it has been a fabulous year for the podcast, and I've had an absolute blast doing this podcast with you, Mike, and with all the listeners on our Facebook group, which everybody should join. That's Black Series Cantina. It's been a blast getting everybody's feedback on the show. If you have any feedback, please reach out to us. But like we said, Black Series is on fire right now. Of course, every figure can be a little better. Usually, like I said, figures feel like they're one or two accessories away from being absolutely perfect. But hey, we get what we get, and we're still appreciative of the action figures we're able to buy and being in position to buy the action figures.
Yeah, it's all first world problems. Like
absolutely.
There's a difference between critiquing what could be better and just outright bitching and moaning. And I would like to think that we err on the side of just lovingly critiquing something we love so that it can be better, because we're coming from a place.
I think we're fair.
Fanship. Yeah, we want to be fair.
I think we're fair.
Yeah.
We appreciate it, and we constructively criticize it when it needs it.
Sure. Absolutely.
I feel like on this podcast we do.
Yep. I agree.
But yeah, so I think that's a wrap. Mike, do you have anything you want to plug before we do our final sign-offs?
Sure do. I made a video. I made 2 videos this week. Well, one took me a week to make, and that was the His Tank review. It's 50 minutes long, but if you just want to put it on and sit back and like work on something while I talk to you about a $300 tank for G.I. Joe, go ahead and listen to it. But just today, I released my holiday figure review, and that's significantly shorter. It's less than 30 minutes, and I talk about 6 figures, so it's pretty good. And then I will be working on some more videos. Like I'll probably do a video on the Ghost Marley I got and the Santa Claus figure, and I'll probably do a video at least unboxing and taking a look at the next wave when I get it.
Looking forward to that. And then I'm Zach. You can follow me on Instagram at Blackseriescantina. I'm not sure why I kept that in the header the whole time.
I was gonna say something, but
I was on Wilbon's show, and I guess I had that on without the white bar underneath. But so I'll guess I'll fix that for next time. But I'm Zach. You can follow me on Instagram at Blackseriescantina. I always update there whenever we drop new podcast episodes. You can also follow me on TikTok. That's got the classic at the Star Wars Black Series. I think we're pushing 19K, so please follow me on there. Patreon, if you are in a position to support us financially, we have a tier for every budget. We have $2, $5, $11.38 tier, which if you're a true Star Wars fan, you'll get that reference. And then we also have 2 more VIP spots opening up in the beginning of January. Those are $25 a piece. So be on the lookout of those if you want to snag one of those real quick. And then you can hop on the VIP shows that we do every month. They're a blast. We have an absolute great time. We actually just recorded one last week. So if you're a Patreon member at any tier, you get access to that. So just $2 a month or $5 a month gets you extra content. If you cannot support us financially, please leave a review on the podcast platform you listen on. Everything helps Also, join our Facebook page. We have great discussions about the figures in there whenever they release and announced. And then that's where we mostly update sort of if we're recording at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock and you want to join us live, or if we have to delay the podcast for any reasons, join us there. That Facebook group is Black Series Cantina. Follow us on Twitter at TBS Cantina. Buy our merch. We have hoodies. We have pint glasses. We have coffee mugs. We have shirts. The Rancor shirt is a popular one. So if you want to support us that way, you absolutely can. And then email us, blackseriescantina@gmail.com. And that's a wrap on 2023. We'll see you in early January for hopefully some more Black Series drops chat.
Hopefully. Yep. We'll see you. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah.